And welcome to the Fired Up Network. Welcome to the flagship show of the Fired Up Network, Fired Up Live, and welcome to Women's World Cup update with the one and only Carmen Asako. All right, Carmen is going to be here. 1 second here, Carm. Um, let's get to it. I gave you the week off. All right, I gave you the week off. We promised we're going to be here every day. Maybe we'll do a soccer show tomorrow and we'll talk about it. But let's first start off. I'm in Canada, you're in Canada. So far, 2 matches in. What do you think of Team Canada?
Yeah, I mean, a very good result against Ireland, even going a goal down. So mentally, it could have been destructive. But I think the reaction was fantastic. I think that they played they played a little better with a little more ability to combine and get in behind and Sinclair and just I think Bev Priestman used the substitutions to her advantage as well. Sinclair coming in, Schmidt coming in, really made a difference. Obviously the illness of Kadisha could be a problem, but Sidorsky came in and did a very good job defensively against an Irish team that didn't have the same approach as Nigeria. They didn't necessarily look to the counter all the time, but they could create something, and I think that they were a little less organized than the Nigerians as far as playing the Canadian weaknesses. But again, finding an own goal off an opportunistic action, opportunistic cross, and then a very good goal by Lyon. And she's been threatening the whole time. She's been threatening very direct the whole time. And she found a great goal and really important for the country. And they did a good job defensively to close things out and probably deserved a couple more in transition. So overall, a very good performance by the Canadian, much needed. And obviously a turn of events where no one expected Nigeria to beat Australia. But now, the Australian game means a lot more. And, playing at home.
Be problems.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Canadians will be ready. I think the Canadians will be ready, and I think that having a meaningful game is a lot more useful than kind of just going through the motions in this tournament. I think it'll be a very, very, very good test, and most of the team will be somewhat rested, and Jesse Fleming, I thought, made a massive difference coming into that midfield and just getting the tempo higher, not only making high percentage passes, breaking lines. I thought she was fantastic, and I think she's vital for the team.
So you're the coach, so would you start Christine St. Clair or because they came off in the second half, she came on in the second half, or would you play her in the second half?
I mean, either way, I think will make sense because she's not a defensive liability by any means. I think that they're going to want to press. They're going to want to get at the Australians, similar to how they did the Irish. So for that reason, I think she may come off the bench for the pace and for the energy level. But obviously, Lyon has played a lot of minutes, but she came off not shortly after she scored the goal. So there's a lot of rest and she's got a lot more energy, and I think that pressing mentality that the Canadians are going to go with, I think it might behoove them to start with Viens and bring Sinclair off the bench, or if she's playing behind, she'll have a little bit of a less of a role in the pressing because most of the pressing takes place in the wing channels. But no, I think it's a fit team. I think it's an organized team. I think they're going to be very very well suited to press the Australians, whether Sinclair starts or not. But I do think that it'll be a situation where she does come off the bench again.
And you mentioned Nigeria winning, so the tie wasn't that bad now. Like they surprised, so maybe Nigeria could be the surprise team of this World Cup. And let's face it, Nigeria plays the next game there, so it's Nigeria could be in. Nigeria could be in, and a lot of people will be surprised. They play Ireland the same day Canada plays Australia. In fact, the same time, 6 a.m. By the way, The game Monday, July 31st, Canada, Australia at 6 a.m. Republic of Ireland, Nigeria, 6 a.m. also. So that's a side note there. But we also have to talk because, he pays you. All right. John Freeman Nelson's USA team. What a war against Netherlands. Of course, that was a rematch of the last World Cup there. A very physical match and 1-1 draw.
And to be honest, the Netherlands had a lot of opportunities in the end. They played some good football, and I think if we talk about the whole transition in the world game, you see how the U.S. didn't dominate by any means, although. The defender made an incredible. The Dutch defender made an incredible save off the counter and the volley, probably to win it for the U.S. But again, for me, the U.S. are still the favorites. I think Netherlands is another one that could go very deep into this tournament. But they played some scrumptious football, especially at the end, to create chances and pin the U.S. back in their box for a while. So I think it's not only a confidence level; it's a physical level. It's the Europeans understanding understanding how to win in the women's game, and you're seeing it with Spain. Spain's kind of going through simple times in their group as well, but they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. Are they at the Americans' level right now? Did the Americans show us that they have the strength and the mental strength to be without the ball for spells and do well defensively? Yes. So yes, they did tie. The U.S. I would say tied the Dutch. Were the Dutch intimidated by the U.S.? Not. But did the U.S. show something? That they're going to need in this tournament to beat teams that are almost at their level now. They had the ability to drop in a lower block and suffer a bit. The U.S. Isn't a team that's used to suffering. So they're a team that sometimes gets countered, sometimes, but they're against the run of play gets scored on. But they're a team that dominate, and you didn't see that against the Dutch. That's for sure.
All right. So just last question about Canada because I want to know that if they don't make it to round 16, it's disappointing. Okay. If they make it to round 16, okay, how far do you think they can do it? How far would you think? Obviously, every Canadian wants them to win it. So, semifinal berth, okay, or quarterfinal berth, or like, how far do you think will be acceptable if Canada doesn't win it?
I mean, I think it's going to be based on performance. I think it's going to be based on, obviously the results, but more performance for mine. I mean, against the Australians, they obviously need it. I would say at least a point, or I mean, then who knows if that's going to be enough? But yeah, at least a point should be enough. I haven't done the math yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that. Yeah, it's going to be vital for them to have a good performance, and whatever may be. I still think that they're a couple steps ahead in quality against the Australians, and I still think our best players haven't been totally at their best. Like a Jordan Hoytman, who I think is a fantastic world class player. I think she's going to find her feet, and she's finding her feet and getting better with every game. Jessie Fleming, again, sat out the first game. So I still think that Canada's a powerhouse, and I think that they're going to, regardless of how far they go or how far they don't go, I think that they're going to put themselves in a position to win it, in a position to win every game. That's what I think. I think the quality on the field, I think their experience, especially going through a World Olympics and winning the gold. I think their experience in defending, I think experience in dealing with different situations in the game, their ability to change tempo, their ability to break teams down differently. I think that all that is going to be a key. And I think as they go deeper, I think they'll be more comfortable playing that transition game. I think they'll be more comfortable playing, getting from defense to the attack quicker. I think they'll be more comfortable doing that, as we saw in the Olympics. But I think this Australia game could be tricky because I think they're going to look to get on the front foot. They're going to look to press them, and then they're going to deal with situations that arise. But again, performance and getting a result is what the keys are. But I think Canada is one of those probably 6 teams that can go very far and win it. Obviously, we saw that in the Olympics, and depending on draws and depending on situations. But no one's going to look at Canada to say, "Hey, we want to play Canada in the next round." That's for sure.
All right. We got one match coming up in about a few minutes away. Argentina, South Africa, 8 p.m. tonight. And we'll get to tomorrow's matchups because Carmen has to wake up early. So go ahead, Argentina. What do you think, Argentina or South Africa tonight?
I mean, the Argentinians obviously lost to not a lesser European team, but a team that's not as, we'll say, as athletic or as strong. The Italians in the first round, but they played some good soccer. And the South Africans were probably the surprising team of the tournament so far. Keeping France to a 0-0 tie, and France is probably one of those teams that could win it at any time. With the quality and the level of their league. So it's going to be an unpredictable situation for the South African and that game, because the Argentinians have the flair and the ability to break them down and the speed of play, but the South Africans were just solid, and physically they'll be a little bit stronger. So restarts could be an issue, transition actions could be an issue, and just their athleticism in general. The South Africans, I thought, were a very good side, to be honest.
All right, but you didn't say who you're picking.
All right, I'm going to say that South Africa comes out with, a 1-0 or a 1-1 situation where the South Africans come out and win this game.
All right. By the way, we'll touch on tomorrow's games. We'll hopefully do a soccer show 12:15, and then we'll preview. I don't know if you know this, but some guy named Giancarlo Lino is also Italian. Saturday morning, Italy plays. All right, so we'll touch on that one. But on Friday, and Carmen, are you going to be up at 4:30 in the morning? England and Denmark.
Well, that's a good game. The English have a lot to prove. Obviously, did very well in the Euros, won the Euros at home soil. But the Danes, and again, it's the parity in the women's game is fantastic. So it's going to be quality moments and all those things that are going to make the difference. But I think that the English, the French, who we thought, and the Dutch are kind of pushing themselves a little bit ahead in the European scale of things in the female game, for sure.
All right, and then at 7 a.m., I know you're up by then, China and Haiti.
Well, Haiti's like I said, Haiti is not like you see all these things that are happening. New Zealand, the Philippines, the women's game is
surprising, and a lot of teams are coming up.
Yeah, the parity and the quality and the tactical savvy, all those things are making these games actually very interesting. And you never know with Haiti. Haiti's been given everyone so far their first game. They gave them a lot of trouble, and they could be one of those sleepers.
So I mentioned Italy. Okay, Saturday they play at 3:30 a.m. and I know Giancarlo will not wake up, but you, being Italian, being whatever, Italy plays 3:30 a.m. Saturday, Sweden and Italy. Are you going to be up? Because if you're not up, the second game should be a match of the World Cup of Men, France and Brazil.
Wow. Yeah, I'll be up. I'll find a way to get up, or I'll be watching it, because we watched my kids and I, my middle daughter who plays, and my son really love watching the women's team as well. They're up or watching it on tape delay or whatever, but they love watching it. So yeah, I'm going to try to get up for that 3:30 game, or who knows? Maybe have a good night out. Maybe I'll be just coming in.
No, no. If you want a wake up call, I could give you a wake up call. Now, you mentioned your kids, right? And I just wanted, because I've been hearing a lot of email. I got a lot of emails. A lot of kids are watching more the ladies' game than the men's game. Just the kids, like 8 to 12 years old, or 6 to 12, or whatever. Do you find that?
I mean, that's why I think that not only this World Cup, although the times and
Yeah.
are kind of difficult for the youth, but I think that the viewership and the participation in the game right now, and the level of participation in the game right now, is a perfect platform for the new women's league that's starting. Hopefully, we get more people investing in it. Hopefully, we get more the governing body and CSB and MLSE and it's stepping up to the plate to get immersed in the development of this league and the growth of this league. I know it's in its beginning stages, and right now we have kind of 2.5 teams with Calgary, Vancouver, and the Toronto organization that's getting kind of sorted out. So yeah, I think that a lot more people need to start stepping up, including including the youth systems, where and I think that I agree with you 1,000%. I think the viewership, I think the participation, I think the viability of stadiums getting packed in the women's game is very, very, very high.
All right. So as we mentioned, tomorrow, hopefully 12:15, we'll be back for the soccer show. But one other question, and I think you know where I'm going here. Some guy in Inter Miami, and we had this last Friday, where you said, he's not going to score a lot of goals. It's
I didn't I didn't say that. I said it would be more difficult for him.
more difficult. The guy's played 40 minutes. He scored 3 goals and had an assist.
Yeah, okay. Yes, I take it back. So far, so good. I mean, yes, he's been amazing. The team itself has been much better. Everything's happened so far. You know what? I underestimated the relevance of this to him. I underestimated the investment of him in this so far. And it hasn't been against walkover teams. It has been in the League's Cup, but the Mexican team was a solid group, and now against Atlanta, who arguably is one of the playoff teams in this league, he put on a clinic. It's incredible, and people don't know how to handle him just yet. And I take it all back. I apologize. So far, he's been the Messi that we've all known him to be. And Busquets has been the same, and the Taylor, everyone around him. Like, you see pictures of Kamal Miller and hugging Messi and all that stuff, and everyone around him has just become that much better on that team. But again, the sample size is small. But if he continues at this rate, Inter Miami might even find their way into the playoffs. Not like another team that we don't want to talk about right now.
No, I'm not talking about that team. But the final question here, and I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag. When we were negotiating, me and Carmen, we were negotiating, and I gave him the biggest contract ever in independent television history, $772 million. Then Saudis come and say they're going to give Kylian Mbappe $774 million for 1 year. All right, Carmen. I'm gonna, I don't care if it's Saudi Arabia. I don't care if it's Arabia Saudi. All right, $774 million. The phone rings. You're not even hanging up the phone. You're already on the plane to Saudi Arabia. Kylian Mbappe says no. What? I gotta ask, what is wrong with this guy, or what is right with this guy?
Yeah, exactly. Let's argue for the latter. I mean, it's the integrity of the game, his affection for Real Madrid. his affection for history and heritage, overrides the kind of the whole
So what does that say about number 7?
uncleanliness of the whole situation. Well, hopefully number 7 is using this, and hopefully even if Mbappe used this, he could have probably made more than the whole gross national product of a small country. And hopefully he's using it to good use. I mean, there's countries in this world that the Saudi Arabians could come in and help, like Haiti, or small countries in the world that need new infrastructure. $774 million could
In the history, you've
so
been around for soccer for
it's
forever.
and I love the game. It's a comment about the value of the game, but it's also a comment on humanity. Can't we use this money or what everything that's happening there for better resources? Or I digress, but
No,
yeah,
but let me ask you this. You
I'm
were
kind
a famous goaltender, okay? You were a famous goaltender, and
of,
I'm not saying you were good or bad or whatever, but if they 25 years ago, if Saudi was here and they say, Carmen, we want you to come over for $100 million, for $50 million, would you go? No, I'm being honest with you. Come on, would you go?
you
Knowing that you have a young family there, knowing that everything, and I'm not saying $774 million because
yeah.
I can't even spell that. All right, so if they give you 4 million, 5 million, 10 million,
Oh, if you only knew my salary back in the day.
was
Uh,
$4.
oh, yeah, well, it wasn't. I mean, living and everything was different back then, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's unfathomable to think of the salaries that are existing right now. But
So what stops them from
credit
sort of
game.
throwing the money away to anybody?
Sorry,
What
I
was what stops them from throwing the money away to anybody? If you wanted Javenko, if you wanted guys who almost finished their career, they're in the last legs. What will stop them?
no, I mean nothing, nothing. I mean, Mbappe is probably the best player in the world right now, the most valuable player in the world right now. And they're doing everything they can, just kind of to buy people. Like that's if you think of what you just saying is buying people. You're buying people.
Yeah.
They've bought themselves into a world of credibility. If could I see any other league in Europe doing that? No. Like I mean, there's it kind of lines on the cusp of ridiculousness right now, and I think that they're just having a laugh and taking the piss out of the whole situation. It's just devaluing it. In one sense, the value of our game is gone, but it's a circus. Now it's just become a circus, and it's become ridiculous. Like it's just I don't know how to put it into words how ridiculous this is, and
And
how
think about
I the game are kind of rolling in their graves or scratching their heads, saying, what happened? This is like imagine a Pele who played
yeah.
90% of his career in Brazil and then came to New York for an experience and life. But imagine like just imagine those stories, right? So yeah, for me it's it's a documentary on greed, a documentary on yeah, our game's grown to this level, but wow, I don't.
In 5 years, do you think the Saudi league competes with everything? Because if they're willing to throw away $100 billion, they're willing to compete with every league, everything, startup, forget about MLS because let's face it, MLS is the fifth league in the world. It's EPL, La Liga, Serie A, Bundesliga, Mexican League, and everything like that. But do you think in 5 years they are one or two or three?
No, Not yet. No. The credibility of everything. I mean, Al Nasser is getting some results. I think they tied Inter early this morning Eastern time. They're in these exhibition series, but I think as a whole, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure that how this league's going to grow. Will this be one of the top leagues in the world? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure just yet. Because they still have to have a developmental structure. They have to have, those things are all important. There has to be, obviously, I was going to say business plan or moving forward, but right now, I think it's dominated by two or three or four teams at most. If this league grows to 8-10 competitive teams, it's just the lack of history, the lack of heritage that's going to forever leave.
Here's the other question that nobody's talking about. Okay, you spend want to spend $774 million on one player for 1 year. How much are you taking in?
Yeah. Well, I think most of their business is through the funds, right?
But are you really, if you're going to give away to Carmen Osako $774 million for 1 year, what do you mean? You're taking away $774 billion every year? Because there has to be a plus.
Yeah, I think this is, like you said, an investment in their future, an investment in the in the now effect or the awe effect, right? I'm not sure it's going to go beyond that, right? I think that let's use this analogy. Everyone wants the best car, whether it's and you look at all the owners, they have incredible cars, whether it's Rolls Royces or they have Ferraris and all this, like the value of that, compared to a very strong Bundesliga Mercedes-Benz that continues and goes viable and develops player after player after player in their system. Is that more, in the long run, is that going to be the more useful? Is there shock and awe right now with bringing in Ronaldo and bringing in all these players that are going to bring credibility to the league? Yeah, but what's the sustainability? How long is this going to last? Because everyone's still going to want to play for Real Madrid. Everyone's still going to want to play for Barcelona and Juventus and Inter and Manchester City and Manchester United and all the big teams, Arsenal. So they're going to go about their business very high class, but very high reliability and high development, and they're going to work hard. But then you're going to have that, the 50-year-old that comes into midlife, and they're going to want that beautiful car right away, and they're going to shock and awe, and they're going to have all the amenities of life for that 5-10 minutes, and then what? So moving forward, that's what I think the Saudi Arabian League is doing right now. It's shock and awe, kind of saying, hey, we could take the world of soccer and we could do whatever we want. It's mostly ego. It's mostly, but I think that this game has too much history, too much heritage, too much to be kind of, and Mbappe's situation is probably the best example of no, I prefer Real Madrid. I prefer, being part of the history of the game. And I think that's going to override everything, and the sustainability and the growth and the development and the cultures of this game is going to be what's going to make the difference.
In other words, Carmen likes his Honda Civic. He doesn't want to drive anything else, right, Carmen?
Well, Civic these days or Toyota costs as much as a stadium.
Well, what does it cost? You go to Milk, it costs $5 now. Come on. What does it cost? All right. What does it cost is Fired Up Network. Download it on all these apps, and you could watch it on Roku, Amazon, Apple, everything like that. And hopefully we'll be back tomorrow, 12:15, for the soccer show, where two Italians are going to talk about how Italy is going to lose Saturday morning, right?
Again. The Italian women don't get to that level very often, but the sophistication of their game and their development, and not only the Italians, but the Spanish, the Argentinians, teams like that, teams with soccer history is incredible. Do they have enough to compete with the Canadians and compete with the U.S. and the English teams that have been there before? I'm not so sure, not yet, but it's an interesting evolution that's happening in this, and so far I've enjoyed watching the women's game.
Yeah, the World Cup has been great, except for the two host cities, Australia and New Zealand. They have been, for them, have been really disappointing. You're hosting the World Cup and obviously losing to Nigeria, like we talked about earlier on today. That was very disappointing for them. So there you go. All right, Carm, any last words?
Let's support Canada. Let's support them. Let's be there for them, because it's a great, incredible bunch of female athletes, and I think that it's important to watch what the next generation can be if we take, and there's a lot of stuff that these girls have gone through, and there's a lot of stuff that they're fighting for, and it's an incredible example of what our Canadian females should strive for right now.
And by the way, Karma, Romania's calling. They're offering you 774 cents to coach in Yash. Are you accepting or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, Yash is Romania. Yash, Romania. Come on. You don't know your Romanian cities or what?
Oh, stop getting all yushy on me.
All right, Yashi, that's right. All right, stay tuned for more great programming on the Fired Up Network. Thank you, Carm. Basic and welcome to the Fired Up Network. Welcome to a special edition of FEM. Yes, Female Empowerment Movement. And we got two of the leading ladies on FEM. Well, the only ladies really here on right now. Okay. Shauna Brown is here. And of course, Courtney Riddell here. I wanted you guys on because we got some big announcements to make here on the flagship show of the Fired Up Network, Fired Up Live. But we're going to first start off. I'll start off with Courtney here. All right. Courtney, you do a great job, Renaissance Mama and all that. Now, if you were the Renaissance Mama, how long are you going to be the Renaissance Mama? Is there a new Renaissance here for like 40, 50, 30 years? Come on.
You know what, Joe? I'm not too sure. I'm kind of playing it by ear. I find like every time I think I know who I am and what I'm all about, it changes again. That's why I'm the Renaissance Mama, because it can change over and over and over again. So who knows how long I'm going to hold on to it. I just know I play many roles, I wear many hats, and it's always changing.
Funny, I've never seen you in a hat. You said you had many hats, all right?
You know, the visual, the like imaginary hats of all the many things I do.
So I also some sad news, and we'll get to Shauna in a second here. Some sad news yesterday in the music world. I know Shauna is a musician. She's signed by Sony. I was going to sign her to one of these soccer contracts, $774 million for 1 year. She refused. All right, and Courtney, I know you're a singer also, but Sinead O'Connor. Sinead O'Connor passing away yesterday, age 56. We still don't know what happened or whatever. And her son, when her son was 17 or 18 years old, passed away also. Give me your thoughts on Sinead O'Connor first, Courtney.
It's just so heartbreaking when somebody so talented passes away early. I mean, we've seen it happen numerous times. Like, it really, really is upsetting. And I think, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what's happening, but just really so upsetting to hear, like, someone with so much talent in their life, and sad.
All right, Shauna, your thoughts, being a musician signed by Sony for $774 million.
Not quite yet, but working on it. I am so devastated. I've loved Sinead for so long. She just represents so many things for women, for everyone in the industry. Was such a beautiful soul. So young too, and she went through a lot in the music industry, and really stood her ground on a lot of things that she was being swayed in different directions, but she stood her ground, and was such a powerful soul. And I mean, to this day, her music has inspired me. I mean, she was so ahead of her time. her music will keep going. People will look back at it and they will take influence from it. I don't even really have words. It's really hard for me. Like I loved her so much, and when I found out, I was just floored. I was floored.
All right, and let's move it to a good light here.
Okay.
We've got a major announcement, Courtney. A major announcement only here on Fired Up Network and Fam. Shauna, do you want to tell? Have you practiced yet? Have you practiced yet, Courtney? I don't know if you're sitting down, because if she starts singing the thing she has to, we have to stand up, and like, come on. All right, tell everybody what you're doing on Saturday in Hamilton, Shauna.
Right. So the Wentworth 3x3, the basketball festival, I'm going to be singing the national anthem. I'm so honored to do it. And it's a great cause. And that's where I'm going to be at around 12:20 on the 29th, which is coming right up this Saturday. I'll be up there doing the national anthem. And of course, I'll be thinking of you guys.
Hold on. She doesn't know this. I spoke to the guy who's in charge of the 3-on-3 tournament. He wants you to sing it in English, in French, in Spanish, in Portuguese, in like from 12:30 to 1:30. You got the national anthem covered. So can you sing? By the way, all joking aside, they usually sing it in Canadian and a little bit of French. Do you know? Can you do both?
I can. He told me to do it in English this time, though. I think just that's how.
All right,
want it.
So he could tell you to do it in English, but can you give us? I can tell you. Give me a line in French, because
in French,
we all forgot what to say in French in high school.
Oh my goodness, it's been a while for me. I'm
trying to sing it in my head too.
I remember the part where it goes "Ton franc et saint de vie en joyeux." That's one part.
What did you just say? What did you just say there?
I don't know. I just know it. It's just there. What is it? Well, that was the part. It's kind of drilled in your head for so long growing
drilled
up,
in
right?
your head. But I also feel like when the French came, I always kind of like just did that. Sean kind of went like I just kind of like mumbled it because I probably didn't.
Yeah, there
right?
You go. Yeah. No, but the French version is really beautiful. And I know Celine, she used to add in that French element when she would do it, and a lot of other people would add the French in there, which is always nice. So, yeah.
Are you prepared? Because apparently for that 3-on-3 tournament, it happens actually Saturday, Sunday. There's going to be a lot of superstars there. I hear Chaclair maybe. Oh, you know him.
I do know Chaclair.
I hear Drake. He started from the bottom. I looked at all the rats and then Scarborough and everything like that, and I found Drake and everything like that. But I hear he's not going to be there because he's too busy chasing after Celine, chasing after Serena Williams, never mind. And let alone he's taking care of his kid. He does a good job there. But I hear a lot of big stars are going to be there.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, I am just got my mind on what I'm doing and what I'm going to do when I get there. I can't wait to schmooze and talk with everyone when I'm there. I know there's going to be a lot of really great people there.
Did you pick out your clothes? Does a national anthem singer pick out their clothes a week in advance?
Oh, yeah. My clothes have been done for 2 weeks. Are you kidding me?
And is somebody there doing hair, makeup, and everything like that?
Oh,
or do you even know the structure?
Of course, Sandro Zamperini will be doing my hair.
Oh, and by the way, hold on. I know Sandro he's a good, close person. Check him out anywhere. I believe in Brampton, right? And he does hair. He does. Courtney, you got to go drive up to Brampton. He does a great job.
He's actually the best in all of Canada. He really is one of the best. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he could even say it in French also, right?
Well, yeah. Of course.
Yeah. See.
Joe, does he do your hair, Joe? That's the big question.
Yes.
Who does Joe's hair? What do we?
My hair is extravagant, man. Look at this. Look at this. I need a haircut, by the way. It's summertime and all that. And speaking about summertime, we were talking off air here. Last year, we did August 7th. Shauna did a concert here. And honestly, I'm going to take credit, Shauna. I'll take the credit. Because of the concert, listen to this, Courtney. She got signed by Sony Music, the $774 million contract, and she did not give me 47 cents for it. All right, so like that, unbelievable. But we're talking about having a sort of end of summer contest or concert to at the end of summer, at the end of August, hopefully celebrate something coming up, and there's rumors, and I'm gonna let it out of the bag a little bit. There's rumors. We're on, Fired Up Network, on Roku, on Apple TV, on Android TV, on LG Smart TVs, on Philips TV, Hisense TV, you name it. All right, but there's rumors now that we may have them as a separate channel, female empowerment movement.
Right
Again,
on.
Shauna's there, Courtney's there, and because of Courtney and Shauna, we brought up so many other ladies. Any of the ladies want to join, and I don't know if there is, but one of the first all ladies channel, and you could see it on all smart TVs. Download Momito, download Flickhouse, and then go to Roku, and you could watch. Shauna, you watch yourself like night and day on the Roku TV and all that, even though you told me you don't have a Roku TV.
Yeah, I'm on there 24/7. Yeah. My eyes are glued.
And Courtney, you're a Renaissance mama. So between the 3 minutes you have between doing everything, putting on the hat, you watch 3 minutes of yourself, right?
You know what? I love it when I turn it on. I'm like, oh, there I am. Hello.
Selfish. You're always selfish. You don't watch the programming you want. But honestly, what's the feeling like when you turn on and you see yourself? Do you figure like Drake's got nothing on me? He started at the bottom, and I'm here.
I mean, I love it, and I love that this opportunity for women and their own station. Like, I think even the whole message of our female empowerment movement, like those words alone are like so strong, and I'm just so excited to continue providing this great content and engaging with our audiences, and it's so much fun.
What I'll ask you, and then I'll ask Shauna. Since if we do this network, what changes would you like to see? What programs would you like to add? We got many other ladies around the world who want to do a health show, want to do Reiki, and want to do all this. Would you like to see all of those shows on here?
Honestly, yeah. Like, I think there is sort of an untapped market. There could be shows like we know. I don't know if you know what women like, Joe, but Shauna and I know what
Listen,
the women.
I'm not married.
Oh, yes, we do.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe you don't know, but we know.
All right, here. I'm going to ask you a question. Seriously, serious question here. And maybe Shauna already knows this. I may be going down on one knee by the end of. Look, why you're astonished, Courtney? Like, oh my God!
I'm like so excited. That like really warms my heart so much. Like that just makes me so excited. Like,
well, then maybe I'll hold off till November till it's freezing. All right, so warm you up your heart even more. But anyway, what would you say is the best way to make a proposal? Do I even have to go down on one knee? Do I have to fix up my hair? Do I have to show bling bling? Come on. Give me advice, Shauna. Give me advice. Go ahead, Courtney, first of all.
It depends on your person, right? You got to make it as personal as possible. If there's an inside joke or story or some sort of connection that you can bring it back to, that's all us ladies want. We don't need a big production. We don't need fancy, but if there's something special and an inside little something, that is gonna confirms the deal.
So obviously you have a husband or a boyfriend and all that. Do they give you flowers every month on like an anniversary? Let's say your anniversary is, let's say, 26th of every month, right? Like, do they give you on the 26th of every month flowers, candy, hold door open, pull out chairs, bring Kentucky Fried Chicken home? It's finger licking good.
We are actually a no flowers. Like, I don't believe in flowers because they die. Like, I'm not a fan of it. But my husband knows that I have a bit of a sweet tooth. So if he shows up with like one of those fancy donuts or something, I'm like, oh, or a slushie, or like those are my
just a slushie. Your husband, I don't know him, but that's the cheap way. He's smart.
He won my heart by bringing me a slushie when we were like dating really early on. I was an actor in Toronto. I was in the middle of rehearsals, and he like showed up at one of my rehearsals with the slushie, and I was like, oh, and now that was our story. That's how he won me over.
I thought she would say, Shauna, when she was saying, do that again. Do that
There you go.
She was saying, thank heaven for 7-Eleven.
Right?
That's it. Shauna, how about you? Any tips on me
Well,
going
I would
potentially
say,
on a knee?
I would do the whole knee thing. Sure, you can do that. Definitely make it personal. But I would say don't do it on any like special holiday though. Do it on like a random day that she's not expecting and nothing else is being celebrated. So it's all about the occasion. And I mean, if you want to drop a big, huge rock, you can do that too. Like, I know.
This spoken by the lady who made $747 million. Come on.
Yeah. No, honestly, though, it really is about it being something personal. It really is. And if you can catch her off guard and have no idea that it's coming to, like, absolutely no idea, I think that would be awesome. So I've always dreamed of having like one of those, what do you call it? Flash mobs or something. But like non-expecting, I know that's a little large, but that's kind of a thing I kind of think is cute too.
So for guys, I want to know this. Do you go down on your left knee or your right knee? Or is there a tradition that you have to go down on your left knee as opposed to your right knee? Or is there no tradition that you go on your right knee to the left knee? Which knee do you go on?
I would say whatever knee you can get comfortable without getting up and being like,
I can't get up, period. So maybe I'm like, I salute you. But honestly, it's, again, summertime. Let's ask the Renaissance Mama a couple final questions with Courtney Riddell, Renaissance Mama here on the Fired Up and Fem Network. Courtney, what is the one thing you want from summer?
Oh, I want it to be longer. Like, can't.
That's never going to happen.
No, I know. Well, we're planning to do a little bit of traveling at the end of the summer and like really just like enjoy some family time and do some fun things. So
I thought you were still going to say you want a slushie every day.
I mean, I've been trying to hold back on the slushies. I can no longer drink them as much as I want to. I mean, I can add a little something into the slushies maybe to make them more exciting. Then they become the margaritas Shauna and I have talked about before.
Yes,
so,
honey.
you know, they're my grown-up slushies.
Yeah, that's what you drink. All right. So go ahead, Shauna.
You can bring me one of those slushies on Saturday, right before I go up to do the national.
No, you can't. You're going to have a margarita before you. Oh, Canada. Oh, I'm just supposed to sing in Canadian or American or in Swahili or what? Come on.
I'll just make up my own words. It'll be fantastic. For the summer, I know the summer's been going good. I don't really know what the initial question was. What we wished for summer?
Yeah. What do you want to do for summer? What was 1 year wish?
I'm really enjoying summer so far. I want to try and do some more day trips. I think just in the city. I want to go to the Science Center. I've never taken my daughter to the Science Center yet, and I think that would be something fun to do.
Do it before it closes. It moves to Toronto.
When is it closing? It's closing soon, right?
Supposedly, but you never know if.
Yeah. So we got to go there. We got to get the whole like static thing happening with our hair and the whole thing. So I want to do that, and I just want to enjoy the rest of the summer. Do a lot of swimming, a lot of water stuff. Can
you believe that next week's already August, and then we're already talking about CNE? I used to love and hate CNE because CNE is CNE, but then the last day of CNE, it's school.
Yeah,
school.
I know.
It's like traditionally the end of summer, even though we got 2 more weeks or whatever, like till third week of September. But your memories, and I'll start off, Shauna, of the CNE. Is it like, for me, it was always the CNE, but how about you?
Well, for me, I didn't go to the CNE until I was probably in my teens because I came to visit here, my family. But I do remember it being really exciting because it was like my first big trip, on my own, like 15, like went to see all this stuff in Toronto, went to the CNE. I think they had the New Kids on the Block performing or something at that point. I can't remember, but it was a lot of fun. And I try to make it a tradition every year now since being here, since actually moving here and stuff. So I went last year. I took my daughter last year, and we had a really good time. It was really hot, but we had an amazing time.
Were you going step by step?
Oh, geez. I was really into the New Kids on the Block at one point in my life. Not in my teens, though. It was a little bit younger than that. When they first came out, I was pretty much into them. But at that point, I was kind of not into them as much. But I just thought it was really cool that they were live and they were performing there. And I was like, this is really cool.
And I know, Courtney, you love the CNE just for one, not the Slurpees. You like them for the Tiny Tims.
Oh, those are delicious. The CNE is so special to me because my grandfather, who supposedly before I was born was like a really grouchy man. And then I came along and he just treated me like gold. But I remember being very, very young. And that was the one thing he wanted to do with me. Like that was our special thing. We would take the transit down to Toronto and he would take me all over the CNE, and he was the the cheapest man you have ever met, but he would save all his coupons for the CNE and he would let me go on all the rides. But the funniest part is he wouldn't go on the rides with me because he was an older man and he couldn't walk very well. And I just remember being like, I can do, like, it was just always our special treat to go to the CNE together. And I definitely would have those Tiny Tim donuts. You know it. He had a coupon for those every time. Like, oh yeah.
That's it. I remember tomorrow, Femme Friday is back with Shauna Brown. Talk with Shauna. Who do you have on with Talk with Shauna this week?
Oh, me. I have my friend Erica. She's her last name is Coolness, and it's Coolness for a reason because she's so cool. She's such a great friend of mine and a music artist back from Nova Scotia, actually. And you're gonna love hearing about her and what she's been doing. We're thinking of doing a song together very soon. So We're talking about that, and yeah, we're having a great time on the show this week.
Okay, so. Courtney, don't need to text me. I'll ask her. Is it in English or in French? All right, Courtney.
I'm like, maybe I should go back and just like translate some of that into French.
Go ahead.
I'll just say a few words there. I'll be like, Gloria. Okay, there we go. There you go.
Again, tomorrow, Femme Friday. Stay tuned to the Fired Up Network for the time. But also, we got Taco Shana. We also have the Renaissance Mama, who she won't have Slurpee with her, and she's very sad. She won't have Tiny Tim. But what will you have?
We are actually talking about some pretty big subjects on the show tomorrow. I'm chatting all about, I was going to call it Why Small Businesses Fail. And then that word fail, I was like, no, I can't use it. So I was just talking about like setbacks. And I think it's going to be really, really fun and informative and like some really great tips and tricks.
The only time you could use fail is for the Maple Leafs because they have done it for 60 years. All right. For the 60 years. So again, Shauna, check it out. Hamilton, tell everybody where it is and what's it called, the 3-on-3 tournament. She is singing the national anthem around 12:20, 12:30. Go ahead, Shauna.
Yes, so everybody come on out on the 29th. I'm going to be there around 12:20 is when we're starting off. I'll be doing the national anthem, 3x3 Wentworth Basketball Festival in Hamilton. I hope to see everyone there. There's going to be tons of vendors, tons of things happening. Lots of celebrity people there. It's going to be a lot of fun, and come out and check it out.
All right. And Shauna, tell everybody how they could get a hold of you.
Yes, you can find me on Shauna Brown Music 111. My website, shaunamusic.com. On Facebook, you could like my page if you like. It's Shauna Songs. And pretty much Shauna Brown on all other platforms.
What do you mean if you like? Of course they're gonna like, and if they don't like your page, you're not gonna sing in English or in French. Then, all right. So there you go. All right, Courtney, tell everybody how to get a hold of you and what you have coming up in the next little while.
I would say the best way to get a hold of me is on Instagram at Courtney Renaissance Mama, or you can hop on my website, which is therenaissancemama.com. I actually have a really cool thing coming up. If any families have kids at home, ooh, Shauna, maybe yours. If you have a kid at home that's kind of bored right now in the middle of the summer, you're looking for something to do, I have this really fun challenge next week that I'm going to get them up, moving, dancing, doing some musical theater things. So totally free, just something for families that are like, oh my gosh, my kids are driving me crazy. Come check out my website.
Very cool, because my daughter is not in camp next week, and I'll have a week free. So there you go.
Hold on, they could drive Courtney crazy.
Oh, yeah. I just provide them like something to do and get them up and moving and off screens if possible.
Yes.
Do you want to know what to do to have them make you go crazy? Let them drink Slurpee for the whole day, and then not green tongues, yellow tongues, everything like that. You'll see that. Okay. And again, Shauna and Courtney, a big part of female empowerment movement. Femme Fridays is back tomorrow. Shauna has Talk with Shauna. Courtney has the Renaissance Mama. Any last comments from you? And by the way, before I forget, check it out. Saturday, Hamilton, the 3-on-3 basketball tournament. She's going to sing the national anthem. Drake's going to be there. Not. He will never be there. Cardi B will be. No. Rihanna. No, Rihanna's going to be out with me. We're at Swiss Chalet and 7-Eleven and all that. But honestly, check her out. And Shauna, can we have a sneak peek as we close out this segment of "Oh Canada" in French?
Oh,
Just
you
go
know what?
ahead.
That's one part of it. You know what? I would like to sing a little clip of Sinead O'Connor, if that's okay.
Okay, go ahead. Maybe you want to do a duet here.
I'm just going to do the chorus to Nothing Compares. So, nothing compares, nothing compares to you. That's for you, Sinead. I love you so much. And I miss you.
That is for Sinead, but it also is directed to me. Nothing compares to me. Thanks a lot, ladies.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Fired Up Network. Welcome to the flagship show of the Fired Up Network. And welcome to a newcomer to the Fired Up Network, David Austin. David, we haven't talked about boxing in a long time like this. We got a boxing event of all boxing events on Saturday. And by the way, because here on the Fired Up Network, we talk about everything. Saturday, we got a UFC pay-per-view event in Salt Lake City. Then we got a Bellator event in Japan. And we got a boxing event in Vegas. David, first of all, a pleasure to have you on here. Your first time on the Fired Up Network. Are you excited about this bout?
I'm fired up about this bout, right? I mean, it is awesome. It's something that we don't get as often as we could or should. And that's when you have the best guys getting in the ring with the best guys. Too often, the business of the business gets in the way. And this is one that we've been waiting for a while. I mean, I don't know if it'll be Hagler Hearns like a lot of people are saying, but it is maybe hands down the best matchup we could ask for heading into the bout.
All right, we're talking about Errol Spence Jr. versus Terrence Crawford. It's finally upon us. 28-0 and 39-0. And we talk about, boxing, the sweet science. And it used to be, I don't have to tell you, Mike Tyson, Holyfield, and Muhammad Ali, and Joe Frazier and all that.
Right.
After this bout, is there another bout that we could look forward to this much already?
Well, I think that there are actually. I think there are a lot of bouts out there that we could really sink our teeth into, but you need guys like this to get it started. So Spence and Crawford is something we've really been waiting for. I mean, you look at what's happening with Devin Haney right now, who's being told he's going to have to step in with either Shakur or with Prograis, which I think both of those would be great matchups. You think about a guy like a Prograis who has said so many times that he's been ducked and disrespected. Now being a champion, getting the opportunity to possibly box Haney, talking about, boxing on an undisputed level. And then if he gets that, whoever gets that, then you have Teofimo Lopez waiting in the wings. So there is an opportunity for some really good bouts that we can sink our teeth into coming up. And then, of course, anyone who gets in the ring with Canelo, that's a good bout. The thing that's going with him, and Jamel Charlo right now, I think that is great. So there are some really good ones. And even when you think about a guy like Tank and Ryan Garcia was about, now I was never an individual who thought that Garcia, was on that class, in that class and on that level. However, it was a bout that the fans wanted. So we're talking about bouts that people really want to see. That was one, and we had it, and we have more that are coming. I think it's great when you look at Inouye and what he just did with Fulton. I thought that was a great bout right there. I mean, you had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and watch it, but it was a great bout. And I think what we're doing right now with Spence and Crawford just takes it takes the next step, and raise the level, of the quality of the matchups that we're getting. And I think that's what we want.
You went 2 minutes without mentioning Jake Paul, so kudos to you. Because the whole world for the last 2.5 years has been talking about Jake Paul. I was going to cut out of my retirement and take on Jake. Listen, there's a soccer player, Kylian Mbappe, who turned down $774 million I will
Right.
take $74 from Jake Paul to get in the ring there. All right. That's number one. So you went 3 minutes without talking about it. But there's also, and we're talking about the sweet science. There's also, I don't know if it's going to be a boxing match, a show, but Fury versus Francis Ngannou. All right. What do you expect from that? Because in boxing, the last, what would you say, 3 years, we're talking about exhibitions. We talked
Right.
about Mayweather and Conor McGregor. We talked about all these stuff, Jake Paul and everything like that. And then now Nick Diaz. But what do you
Right.
expect from all these exhibition bouts when we finally have concrete? This is going to be an amazing bout. And it may finish in the first round, but it's still going to be,
Yeah.
an amazing bout, right? But
Well,
when is boxing coming back to relevance? Wrestling's been here for 50, 60 years.
right.
MMA just started. They're on the 30-year anniversary, and
Right.
but boxing, it's up, down, but it's never been so much down in the last what? When was the last good fight that everybody was talking about? Maybe Tyson Holyfield or whatever, 15, 20 years
Right.
ago.
Yeah, it's been quite a while, and it's funny that you say that because boxing is it has been a steady thing. There have been other things that come along, and I think sometimes the combat sports fans and then sometimes the casual fan, they get so enamored, with the sideshow. Barnum and Bailey say you sell the sizzle and not the steak, and that's what you get with these Jake Paul things and whatnot. And hats off to somebody like Floyd Mayweather who got a ridiculous payday when he got in the ring with Conor McGregor. And people say, well, you shouldn't do those bouts. And I can certainly understand the argument there. When you are a purist and you want to respect the sport, because now with what Mayweather, his last bout with John Gotti the third or whatever, we kind of open Pandora's box with it. But when you have an opportunity, because it's called prize fighting for a reason. When you have an opportunity to have the payday that he had with Conor McGregor, then just the fact that Conor McGregor can be a part of a match that generates that type of revenue, then you've earned the right to be there for whatever reason. And so I'm okay with that. But the problem is we live in a world where success obviously is emulated. And so now everyone's trying to do it, and it's just not the same thing. So I, for one, and I don't get a vote, Joe, but I, for one, am looking forward to the day when this goes back to whatever it was before. And I think that we take those steps. We have a bout like the one that's coming up on Saturday with Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford.
All right, so getting back to Crawford and Spence Jr., let's break it down. Both of them come in undefeated. Both of them have a great knockouts record, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Give me the case, well, we'll go both ways. Give me the case where Spence wins.
Well, I think Spence wins if he comes out and he is Errol Spence. And that may not sound, very, insightful, but it's what it is. When I look at Errol Spence, he's kind of like, I'm dating myself and I need to get some more updated references, but he's like Kareem to me. He's like Eric Dickerson to me. There's not a lot of flash, but you don't catch him.
Job done.
Right, exactly. And that's what he does. And so when you look at that, and he's a tank at this weight, by the way. And so, and he's demonstrated that with everyone he's been in there with. And so if you're Errol Spence, I think it's just business as usual. I had a conversation with Sean Porter, and he's been in the ring with both these gentlemen. And Sean talked about the difference between the two. And he says that the difference for him was that Terrence Crawford did what he wanted to do, and he boxed his bout. He fought his fight. And if they fought again, he'd do it the same way. He says he believed that Errol Spence would box differently because he felt like Errol Spence, allowed Sean Porter to do more of what he wanted to do. And that's one way of looking at it. But I got to tell you, Joe, it says something when I can tell you, go ahead and do your thing, you're not going to win. If I'm playing the Bulls and you say, well, Jordan's going to get 50 tonight, and I say, well, go ahead and get 50, he's not going to win. That is a different mentality right there. I don't have to worry about trying to stop your best thing because you can't stop me. And that is Errol Spence. So if he comes out and he is Errol Spence, if he is the tank that he has been with that jab pumping, coming forward, working the body, he's going to be all sorts of problems for Terrence Crawford. And we've seen him chop wood and take guys out later on. And you know what? And size does make a difference. Errol Spence is a naturally larger boxer. So there are a lot of things that he can do that Terrence Crawford size-wise cannot. So that's my case for Errol Spence.
All right, the other way now, Crawford.
Now, if you are Terrence Crawford, you know, there's a reason why people believe that Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time, because of all the wonderful things that they've seen him do. And that's the same thing when it comes to Terrence Bud Crawford. They've seen him do wonderful things. You know, when he switches, you know, from conventional to southpaw, the way that he does, you know, that's like remembering Jordan hanging from the free throw line. All the things that he does, the way he turns up the aggression, you know, and shows power, you know, displays the speed and the counterpunching. He, you know, if this was baseball, we'd be talking about Terrence Crawford being a 5-tool player. He can hit for average, he can hit for power, he can feel, you know, he's a golden glover, you know, he's all of those things. And when you bring that much to the table, it's a pick your poison kind of night for the guy in the other corner. And with that experience and that skill, this is a guy that can beat anybody on any night.
All right, so before I ask you about Jordan and LeBron, I'm going to ask you, who's your call?
On the Spence Crawford?
Yeah.
I am going to go with Spence. I'm leaning Spence way, you know, and let me say this, Joe. When you get to the point where you're picking between two teams or two individuals, whatever you're talking about, when they've reached this level of skill and accomplishment, it sounds like nitpicking, trying to pick one of them. And so maybe that's what it sounds like. But I like the size of Spence. Like I said, he is a tank. And you know what? We've talked a lot about common opponents, you know, Sean Porter and Kell Brook and that type of thing. And you know what? I believe I like the performance by Errol Spence in those common matchups better than I do with Terrence Crawford. But it goes beyond that when we talk about the body of work, because when you look at what Errol Spence has done, there are other boxers that he has defeated that would have been the best boxer that Terrence Crawford ever fought. You know, Mikey Garcia would have been the best boxer that Terrence Crawford had fought. You know, so would Keith Thurman, Mikey Garcia. You know, and you know, so these guys would have been the best boxers that Terrence Crawford has been in the ring with. And so for me, I like the body of work of Errol Spence and his size. I think it's going to be a good fight. I think it's going to be a close fight, one that either boxer could win. But if I'm putting my money on the table, I'm giving it to Spence.
Okay, so here a couple final questions here. What happens? Whoever wins, whoever loses, what's next for them?
Well, I tell you what, it's going to be such a great night for boxing. Obviously, they both can't win, but if we go out and we have the kind of bout that we want to have, then I think no one truly loses. When you think about it, I know that sounds like a cop-out, so give me a second. I say that because Sugar Ray Leonard wasn't undefeated. Neither was Marvin Hagler or Thomas Hearns, those guys. And they were great bouts. These guys would get in the ring and have together, and they would move on. And I would love to see the world of boxing get back to the point where everyone didn't feel as though they had to be undefeated to be a great boxer, right? I would love to see us get back to a point where we had guys have bouts like this, come up short, like we did with the Inoue bout, right? And let's get right back at it. Let's get back in there, get back in the lab, get back to it, work your way back to that rematch or whatever the case may be, and keep being a great boxer. And that right there, I think the whole sport wins if we can have that.
All right, and newest member of the Fired Up Network, and I signed them to millions and like Jake Paul. All right, David Austin, and David, you were telling me off air, USA Boxing, you may be doing something with USA Boxing. The only thing bigger than USA Boxing is Canadian Boxing, eh? Come on, what are you doing with USA Boxing? Go ahead.
Don't make me cross the border, Joe.
Yeah, I'll make you cross the border for $734 million. You go to Africa. Come on.
Yes, the voice of USA Boxing. You know, I'm honored, you know, to have the privilege of working, you know, with a great organization or great nonprofit organization like USA Boxing, Team USA, and working with some of the best kids and young adults, you know, that you ever want to be around. And it is so amazing. And so even right now, you know, doing this interview with you, thanks again to Fired Up TV. I am in Toledo, Ohio right now, women's national tournament here. being put on by USA Boxing, doing great things. I mean, we're going to have a last chance qualifier in September where there are going to be individuals boxing for an opportunity to make it to the Olympic trials, which will be in Lafayette, Louisiana in December, where they're going to be young men and women laying it all on the line for a chance to travel to Paris and represent the red, white, and blue in the Olympics. I mean, come on, it doesn't get better than that.
It only gets better with, I'm going to ask you this. Give me your best play-by-play call of Joe Pasek knocking out Jake Paul. Come on. Can you do that?
You know,
best play-by-play call for USA Boxing, even though I'm Canadian, but you know what? You don't know this. I'm the president of the provinces of Canada.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about right there. I love it. And I can see Pasek right now, you know, with Jake Paul being the aggressor as he is, trying to use that size to an advantage. But it's the carelessness of Jake Paul that creates those opportunities and that openings right there. And there you see Pasek take Jake Paul down, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if he's going to beat the guy wobbly on his feet. He has made it up. He is glassy in the eyes. And I don't know. The ref doesn't like what he sees. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Jake Paul taken out by Pasek, ladies and gentlemen. The shot heard around the world.
All right, even in Canada and America. So I'm going to ask you, Dave, take us through a final question here. Boxing is your game. Let's face it, okay? But take us through. Obviously, I hint here because you talk about the Chicago Bulls. You like a little basketball, all right?
A little bit. You know,
look how I'm very good at what I do. Look how I tie this in. All right, 2019. Who were your NBA champions?
2019. Yeah. If I can remember back that far, you know, it may
have been 3 years ago. You can't remember 3-4 years ago. Come on.
Well, it may have been Kawhi Leonard.
Yes, Kawhi Leonard, and who?
And Danny Green.
No, and who? What team was that?
Kyle Lowry.
Yes, Cole, you want to name all the players? I'm okay with that. We got another half an hour. So what team was that?
The Toronto Raptors, ladies and gentlemen.
And that team, was it American?
No. It was Canada. It was the Canadian team, the Toronto Raptors. I tell you what, it was one of the best seasons in basketball in recent memory, and I say that because it was such a redemptive story, you know, for Kawhi Leonard, an individual, a silent star, you know, at his time in the league. I can't imagine having a better teammate than a guy who conducts himself that way. For some reason, falls out of favor with Popovich and the Spurs because they believe he's healthy. He says that he's not. Turns out that there were issues. They trade him. They swap best players. When you have a guy like LeBron James who works his contracts in such a way where he gets to walk away from a team and walk to a new team without them having to give up anything, it's a lot easier to win a championship that way. We're talking about the Toronto Raptors make a coaching change, coming off a guy who had won Coach of the Year, and then you turn around and you swap your best player for a guy who has injury concerns, and the league is doubting him right now. Kawhi Leonard comes there and does the heavy lifting. It was incredible to see that redemptive story right there. I'm a big fan of what he did, and big shout out to Toronto and Canada for supporting this man doing a great thing.
And by the way, all right, I taught Kawhi Leonard everything he knows. I'm president of the province. But basketball, any other sports that you like?
I love it. Oh, I really do. I'm a competition junkie. You know, so it all works. But I tell you what, I'm fired up about football. Obviously, NFL getting ready to kick off.
Who's your team in the NFL?
I'm born and raised in Texas, so I am a Dallas Cowboy. I know.
Boo! I know. I know that America's team. When America's team, the last time. By the way, my team's Buffalo. The last time they went in the Super Bowl, who did they beat? Buffalo.
No. The last time they played the Super Bowl,
they beat Pittsburgh. But
they beat Pittsburgh.
I'm saying there's no other Super Bowls unless Buffalo's in there. All right. Who's your call? Who's your call for this year's Super Bowl?
It's going to be tough. I tell you what. It's easy. You could go the easy route and say that Kansas City, that type of thing. And I don't want to sound like a homer, but I really do like the chances of my Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers. I like the way that they play the game. Both teams are set up. They were set up similarly previously, but more so now. Now that Mike McCarthy is taking over the play calling duties on offense, they'll be more run oriented and focused. Not put as much pressure on Dak Prescott, to win the game, be a gunslinger and be a hero. And with that in mind, knowing that they have, a top 5 offense, and a solid run game, that's going to be the formula for them. So I'm expecting to see Dallas and San Francisco get together, late in the season and in the playoffs, like they have the past couple of years. And I think this time Dallas gets by them and gets to the Super Bowl.
So I'm looking at my team, the Buffalo Bills. December 17th, the Dallas Cowboys invade Buffalo to take on the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to have you on here periodically before December and everything like that. But
Yes.
we're going to have a major bet. All right.
Right.
I don't know what it is. We got 2-3 months to have a major bet based on how you look and how I look. And you're like Ric Flair. You're styling, you're profiling the limousines outside the door and everything like that. Woo! All right, come on. All right, and we know you can knock out the best of them, Jake Paul and everything like that. But December 17th, we're in December in Buffalo. I think it's a little bit cold. Don't tell nobody. Could be snowing, could be everything. There's no way they're going to beat Dallas is going to beat Buffalo December 17th, all right? There's no way. I'm willing to put everything we have here in Canada, like apples or whatever. We'll see what you bring. But anyways, David, thanks a lot for this. Tell everybody how they get a hold of you, social media. And fans, check out that boxing fight this Saturday, the Undisputed Heavy Welterweight Championship. You got Spence and Crawford, and according to David, and you got he's the religion here. You got to listen to everything he says. He says Spence, but go ahead, tell everybody how they could get a hold of you.
Well, first, I want to say that, yes, it will be difficult to get a victory in Buffalo at that time of the season and in that cold and snow. But I can also recall a time where the Cowboys got a victory over the Bills in a game where Tony Romo threw 5 interceptions. Let's not talk about impossibilities, sir. So
I said he's the newest member, but this is the last time he's on the show. All right.
But I tell you what, guys, I mean, I've had a great time here with you, Joe. Thanks a lot for having me on, guys. You can find me at INVDavidP. That's on Instagram as well as Twitter. And guys, check us out at Team USA, USABoxing.org. Check out the great boxing that's there. Go to that multi-ring stream, and you'll hear my voice as we do, just play-by-play of multiple fights at one time. It is a fun time to be had for everybody. And USA Boxing is the gold standard for amateur boxing in the world. And you're seeing some of the best. When you get this chance to see these kids do it unspoiled by the business of it and all those other things, it is a joy to watch. And there's so much family involved. So you guys come on out.
Yeah, check out USA Boxing and check out David, the newest member of the Fired Up Network, and he'll be here December, and I'm going to have him in a cowboy hat and everything like that, and he's going to go, I was going to say naked, but nobody wants to see that. So when the Buffalo Bills defeat the Dallas Cowboys, maybe I'll shut up, 28-0 or whatever. But, thanks a lot, David. I really appreciate this. Thanks a lot.
I'm fired up, Joe. Thanks a lot, man.
Hey, and welcome to the show. I'm your man, Brian B., and today I get to co-host this show because JYD is actually out in the field. He's on a military tour for what we call our Shooting for Peace tour, and not only did he go alone, he went and recruited some of his NBA legend friends, right? So first, who we took with him is he needed someone that was small in stature, but is big out in the community and used to just tear it up with steals and running down the court. First, he brought out his main man, Muggsy Bogues. Then, after that, he said, all right, I need a little young pup to go in his dog pound, and he went and got his main man, Mario Chalmers. Then after Mario Chalmers, he said, okay, I got some new school, I got some people that's pretty much in my age group, but I need some old school. So he went out to one of the Showtime Lakers main man, and they call him Hoop. His name is Michael Cooper. And now they're on a tour showing the people the Shooting for Peace mission. Let's check them out. Now this episode's a little bit different because we know that usually we talk about name, image, and likeness. And the reason that this team was put together on the Shooting for Peace tour is that they all have big brands and they're known for their things out in the community. But first, we're gonna go ahead and figure out what they've been doing. Let's kick it off first and go check out my man, Muggsy Bogues.
What's up, fellas? It's a hot one out, but we got a nice breeze going on. Look at my surroundings, yo. Look at my surroundings. Look at my surroundings. Yeah. And look where my ball at now. Look at the ball right there. Oh, right there. Out here getting it in. Therapeutic, fellas. See y'all in a minute.
Hey, when you got smooth moves like that.
Championship game right here.
All right.
Then we had to close the door. Game 7, you know how Game 7 is.
Game 7.
Hey, so what happened was they got out to a good lead.
Oh, they still front runners. You know how the front runners are.
And then my OG Muggsy took control. And then, Game 7 Rio, you know what he doing Game 7.
Bow.
We played hard, man.
Oh, you played.
We started off real strong, man. We got fatigued in the fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter fatigue.
All the time out, we ain't had no more. It was 1,000.
We're just going to piggyback on what they just said. We're just honored to be here in y'all presence. We know what you all go through and what you all endure, especially with that heat out there. And for you guys to sacrifice to allow us to be safe at home, we truly, truly appreciate it. It was very enlightening on our experience in terms of the things we got to see behind the scenes from the Navy base, from all the departments, I should say. But to see you guys and what you guys are doing, what you do, we are truly, truly honored and blessed to be in your company, to be able to come here and share our experience with you. So thank you all, and we wish you guys nothing.
So obviously we can see Muggsy is out engaging with the military folks, but he also still finding time out on the golf courses checking his tee time. Now, let's go check out and see what Coop's up to, right? How he's getting down on the military bases.
Dancing, dancing, dancing.
She's a dancing machine.
Oh, baby, move it, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much. You know what? As a senior citizen, I'm trying to work with this guy. I had his game down. He beat me, but you ain't a player until you put it in the hoop. And he can't put it in the hoop.
I agree. What he said. What he said. What he said.
Him too. Number 11.
Oh,
Okay. Man, I get it. You gonna win? Oh! Yeah, cool. What we gonna do, cool? Yes, sir. What we gonna do, cool? Fresh meat in the house. Fresh meat.
Watch you get down, as you do her thing, right on the scene. She's a dancing machine. Watch you get down.
We're talking a little bit too much sugar honey iced tea. And I really expect, back in the hood, in the day, we say the same. Don't let your mouth try to check your ass. Can't cash. Oh man, I can't do it. Run my mouth now. No. You was probably like just showing the fucking work. That's all they can teach you. What I did, the Marine Corps taught me how to become a man. When did you go into the Marine Corps? 1975. So how old was you? 17, 18? 17. I left home. My dad said, "Where you going?" I said, "Leave home. I ain't coming back." And I left home to go to Marine. Brothers and sisters? I have 11 brothers and 1 sister. Say goodbye to them. I say goodbye to everybody. But they have all gone. I have 4 brothers in the military then. All of them was in the army. You down toward the bottom there. You the baby or? Oh, hell no. There's 4 under me. Okay. Oh. Yeah, I got 4 more under me.
Dancing machine. Shoot, Coop out there with the moves. I see you, Coop. All right, now that we went to some old school, let's get to the new school. They call him Rio, but we know him as Mario Chalmers. Roll the footage.
What Coop said, man. For me, it's a special honor. Like you know, my dad was part of the Air Force 23 years, so I'm kind of a military kid. So my dad was actually stationed out here. He chose the Air Force over the EPA, so it's kind of a full circle for me to come out here and interact with y'all, be part of some military things. I feel like I'm part of the military too. But on top of all that, I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all keep us safe, our country safe, y'all keep us safe, and my hands is off to y'all. Salute.
Yeah. You got a story too? Oh, I'm gonna pass it to my dog, Rio. Give it up for Rio.
Hey, I want to say I had fun, but it all started with somebody that kind of challenged me. I was just coming here trying to be able to chill, like relax, have some fun. I'm walking in the gym, I'm minding my own business.
Right.
Somebody run up on me and say, "Check up."
Oh, what they do?
Check up.
Say what? Call him out.
Okay, cool.
Talk to him.
Hey, look. I'm barely playing, I'm playing for real. He go up 10-2.
Uh-oh.
I'm like, okay.
Man.
I'm quiet.
Vietnam call.
Then he said one word.
What?
Game over.
No, he didn't. Is that what he said?
When it registered,
say it
my
again.
Chi-Town brother, he gave me a look like,
oh.
So my man, we do basketball with the great white people. Let me holler at you real quick.
Hey, give it up to South Carolina, y'all. South Carolina.
Okay, what was you thinking?
That's a killer right here.
A 13-0 run. What was you thinking? You still can't mess with me. Conversation over.
It wasn't no team.
Everybody have a great day. We got delusional, the heat into his brain cells. Somebody beat you 13-0? Oh, see, he walked away. I was having fun with him. I apologize. Look, I'm done. Roll session over. Let's go do something else before somebody shakes the
All right. Now that we know all the legends that's out there with JYD making it happen on this Shooting for Peace tour, right? Let's see what one of their first missions was and how that went when they had to go do some weapons training. Check it out.
Yeah.
I just can't believe I saw
Yeah.
Good to see you, man.
Come on. Money balls, baby. Look at this.
One of my primary functions is to know how to shoot, right? We gotta know how to shoot. So it's a tool that we use to help us to qualify with our weapons, whether it be an M4 or M17. M9s are phasing out, but those two, whatever the soldier's primary weapon may be, this is what we use to practice on it.
Moving at you, moving away from you, and things like that.
Yep, for sure. We have a 240 and a 249 saw as well. Without further ado, if no one has any questions, we can get started.
Ready to shoot some guns, okay? Not these, but these here are real. I'm clear a whole bunch of that's what I'm gonna do. Alright? I'm here to please, not to tease.
You know,
Hey, you gotta load your weapon.
I'm from BMO, baby. We BMO carry. I'm about to blow some shit up. I'm gonna hit my target.
everybody's name, man. I'm so sorry. I know y'all here. You had me wearing my socks all the way up here. That's Mr. Coop.
When the lights come on, the socks go up.
That's cool, man.
How'd I reload it, sir? Hit that button. So as soon as the mag comes out, you just reinsert it.
Somebody about to die. Hold up, hey, how I reload? Muggsy, you hitting anything over there?
Coop, I need to reload. Coop, I'm hitting Coop. I need to reload.
Brother.
JYD shooting everything. Cows, chickens, birds, shooting up the fence. You got to see his shooting stance. That's his shooting stance right there. You know, that right there.
Hype 400 rounds deep. Muggsy, hey, he always gonna bring the noise. He got the guns. He come in the gym with the guns. This is right. How many shots they spray fire over here? My brother behind. Didn't have my wingman. You got me out here on the streets. Come on, cool. Bring your socks down. You got your socks high and everything. Put them things up. God bless it, man. The junkyard got to do everything.
My results may be the best show.
What was your result?
You shot less.
He did, yeah.
Shot less.
Yeah.
Shot less, though.
Yeah.
Shot less.
Shot less.
Who shoot 500 bullets gonna hit 2 people?
I had 36.
Okay, let's go.
I got about 36. Let's go back to war. Hey, round 2.
Go to missiles.
Load the machine up.
Go and do the
Dog
missiles.
pound.
Oh.
Right.
Oh, wee. Okay.
About to die. 16. All right. I have the line. What did Coop do? What did Coop do? 7. Yo, broke elbows over here. Hey, how you got Coop next to me? He only hit 7 targets. I'm gonna get killed. You just fast target. Somebody gotta make a change. Hey, I need you next to me. Muggs can hold down this. What's happening? You got the most hits. You already come to the game with the guns blazing.
1,000 shots. That's why.
Coop, you got to look up, son. We legends, we shooting for peace, but we can't be shooting for peace if we can't aim.
Right.
You got to be able to see and do what you do.
Right.
Yes, get them right.
Yeah.
Let's get back on it. We can't let this thing just get out of hand. They trying to rush us. We got to stay calm. Second,
No rush.
now listen,
No rush.
what were the results on the last?
I know I had 25 kills.
You had 25. What did you do?
10.
10. Okay, you got better than the last time. Good job.
Got him 118 shots.
What did Muggs get?
I had 8. I
8.
had a difficulty managing my gun.
Let's see this.
So I'm about to try it again.
Now,
And we're going to go back
now
to
wait,
this.
now hold on,
Muggsy,
brother.
you did good, man. I did good. I
You
know,
started.
but
Listen, don't listen to him. You got 8. You came down from 17.
They gave me the wrong
You was
weapon.
next to me.
They gave me the wrong weapon.
Supposed to protect your wings.
This is the finale table right here. This is more count.
This is it.
This is the
Hey,
grand.
yo, listen, brother, come in and put the camera down. You supposed to be recording me. Listen,
I got you.
Now, you can't allow this. Next time we got to pause on the results.
Look how short I am, man.
Man, you short for a real half that. That's your. Let's get back to it.
Who's that over there? That's a blue one.
Hold up. Hit the button.
You're rolling.
Come on over here. Come on over here. Over here. Now, On this side, what we got? 24, JYD. Muggsy Bogues, 20. What was that, 20? 20. Yeah, 2-0. That's what we got. Who won? Who's over here? That's who's in this line? 13. Who? Okay, over there on the far left, we got Rio. He's our #1 gunner. What you get?
#1 gunner.
Why you sitting in the back?
Because
bring yourself to the front.
My gun was set up for cool before I got there. So everything was higher.
Now see, here we go.
And then when he fixed
here we go. I asked questions 24. You saw it. You see it. Everybody saw it.
Did you see him out there taking care of business? Now, I will say, if Muggsy is the staff sergeant, you might not want to have a 6'9" JYD out there with you. Won't be real stealth. Now that Muggsy, JYD, Coop, and Rio are done with their weapons training, they decide to head into town and hang with the locals and see how they get it.
This thing right here is for my peoples in the streets. Swiss beats.
Welcome to Kuwait.
Welcome to Kuwait. Welcome.
That's all we have for today's show, folks. Remember, I'm Brian Burrell, your co-host, along with JYD, who's out in the field doing his duties with Shooting for Peace along with his NBA legend friends. So please make sure to stay tuned for other episodes and follow us on the social media platforms so you can get the latest up-to-date content.
And welcome to the Fired Up Network. Welcome to the flagship show of the Fired Up Network, Fired Up Live, and welcome to CFL No Yards Week 8 with the legend, the Hall of Famer, John Freeman Nelson of OSG Sports in Atlanta. All right, can you? Yes, you know how to count and what after 8? What comes? Show me with your finger.
9.
All right, you had to think about that,
Well,
or
because I'm left-handed and I have to sit
I'm
here.
left-handed too, but you get 4 horsemen and 5. Come on. All right, let's get to. I want to touch on last week because we're in Toronto, Hamilton, really big rivalry and all that. The Argos destroying the Ticats 5-0, and they play in Atlantic this week. We'll get to that in a couple seconds. But what did you think of the Argos Hamilton matchup?
Well, I mean, Hamilton really has taken it on the chin the last couple of weeks, and you've got a young quarterback in Taylor Powell now taking over for injuries to both Bo Levi Mitchell and Matthew Shills, and I think that as we lean into the first match this week, Hamilton is going to Ottawa. Ottawa's got Dustin Crum at quarterback. He's doing really well, taking over for Jeremiah Masoli. They've won 2 in a row. They've scored
overtimes.
Yeah, 74 points the last 2 weeks with a young quarterback in Dustin Crum. And so I look at Hamilton really trying to – they're going to be climbing a ladder at 2-4, going up against Ottawa, who's won 2 in a row now, right now at 3-3. I've got to go with Dustin Crum. I think the hot streak is there for them. I think it's going to be a tall order for Taylor Powell on the road, especially now that Hamilton's having to go with their third-string quarterback for the black and gold. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was a great performance last week, but I think it's going to be a tall order for him this week.
All right, and then we go touchdown Atlantic, Saskatchewan 3-3 versus the Argos 5-0. Do the Argos make it 6-0?
Chad Kelly leads the league in passing with over 1,400 yards. First time that the Double Blue have been 5-0 since 1960. If anything, I think that what you need to do here is look at your juice boxes and see if you can find a total. Because the way that Mason Fine has been, and there are those of us who are here in Office HD who know about Mason Fine's history from his time at the University of North Texas. So going from the Mean Green to the Green Riders for Mason Fine, it's been really fun to see him. Grow very, very quickly as a quarterback for Saskatchewan. Right now, they're at a plus 366 in the juice boxes. It's going to be a tall order, and I legitimately think that this game, you got to go with a total for me here and take the over. I think it's going to be an absolute. I mean, all right, so look at this. They don't go any taller in the juice boxes for your total at 50.5. 50.5 is the last number on the board right now for a total at plus 124. I'm taking the over in that one.
I mean, 70.5, and they're playing. Yeah,
that's. I mean, you're saying okay, 27-24. That's at its most base. If they get to 27-24, 50.5, get to 51 points, you've got that locked in at a plus 124.
That may be happening at halftime.
That's what I'm saying. So look at the total. I think that the Argos get to 6-0. I think Mason Fine puts up big numbers again, but I think that Chad Kelly continues the win streak right now for the Argos. You know, the Rough Riders have lost 2 in a row. 6th version of Touchdown Atlantic. Where are my Schooners? That's what I want to know.
That's the question that everybody wants to know. They talked about it for 3 years. They got a name about it, and they're still whatever.
First regular season game ever in Halifax. I know it's going to be cool to see, but right now, take the over first and foremost. But I think the Argos get to 6-0.
All right, Saturday is a day for fighting. We got.
That was Saturday night.
Yeah, but I'm saying the UFC, we got UFC 291, we got Bellator Saturday night, and we got some big boxing fight. I won't ask you that. We got somebody else on there, but also we got the unthinkable happening. John Freeman Nelson before the show says Edmonton is going to play BC in Edmonton, 7 p.m. start. BC comes off 5-1. By the way, last week I said BC is going to roll. You said Saskatchewan's going to win. Yet again, who proves to be the juice boxes, many juice boxes, which I'm not giving you. And you said to me, Edmonton just may have a shot. And I said to you, Edmonton has a shot the first 3 minutes of the game. Before it's 7-0, 10-0, 10-7, 14-7, 21-7, 28-7. And so are you saying Edmonton is going to pull it off and go 1-7?
BC's defense in the first 6 games this year, they've only given up 94 points. So, you divide 6 into 94, and that is a lot of math.
15.
So 6 into 34, yeah, so 15 plus. You're not like 15 and a half, 15.6. They played in week 2. It was a 22-0 win there. I don't anticipate a whole lot of points being scored. No Vernon Adams. Dane Evans is going to start. So, no, the answer is no. BC's going to win, and it's going to be, whoo, boy.
It just proves you're not off your rocker. I thought in the beginning you were off your rocker, but
no.
proves it.
No. The Elks go to the Elks keep the offer, and it might get ugly.
We'll get last point. We'll get back to this game, but closing out the week Sunday, 7 p.m. Calgary, Montreal. Both Calgary 2-4, Montreal 2-3. This arguably is the best matchup of the weekend.
No doubt about it. Ticats traded with the Stamps, so the Stamps bring back defensive lineman Garrett Davis.
Yeah.
And the Owls made a move picking up former All-Star linebacker Sean Lemon back on Monday. I think that you're right. I think this one's going to be the tightest one. I think the Owls are going to get it done. Right now they're at a minus 145 in your juice boxes. Calgary's a plus 112. So I think, once again, it's going to be a tight one. I think Montreal gets it done. Expect something probably low to mid 20s in this one, but I think Montreal gets it done.
All right, so I mentioned I will get back to the other games. So if somebody offers you $774 million to go work for three-letter network, whatever, FOX or whatever,
yeah,
are you going there, or would you leave? And I actually paid you more than $774 million.
Canadian Tire Bucks, man, that's where it goes.
But honestly, you're known for, we talk here on the soccer. You'll join us tomorrow, 12:15, the soccer show. But what's going on with Mbappe here? Or is something right with him turning down $774 million? Go ahead.
It's about quality of life. And right now, do you want to spend that year at Al Hilal? And then there's already discussions that he's got the deal in place with Real Madrid right now anyway. So that's the key in all of this, is if the deal is already a verbal, it's already in 24. Why do I need to sit there and uproot my life, go to Saudi Arabia, uproot it again, go to Real Madrid? I think what happens is the PSG is going to try and find a suitor. And legitimately, I think that Mbappe plays an unhappy year in PSG with Neymar. And it might not. I mean, you'll win Liga, you might win French, the Coupe de France, those kinds of things. But no, I just don't think that it's going to be a whole lot there to it. I mean, it's all about just like, dude, do you want to uproot your life twice or 3 times, really? You're leaving PSG, you're leaving Al Hilal, then you'd be moving to Real Madrid. Do you want to do that 3 times in a calendar year? I don't think you do. So it's about quality of life and making sure that you know what the lay of the land is. I just think that he wants to kind of just stay cool, stand pat, get it done, not worry about it, and then figure it out. It's like, if you got the verbal in place, I think that's where he's going anyway. So I don't think all this extraneous stuff is stuff you want to get locked into.
And tomorrow we'll also talk, I'm sure Giancarlo will have you talking about some guy, number 10 in Inter Miami, where you said over-under will be 10 goals. He has already got 3 goals in like 60 minutes. So there you go. But tell everybody, hold on here. I'm going to talk to the producer.
Okay.
Put up
a producer.
Yes, a producer. Yeah. Go ahead.
Easiest way to grab book number 6 right there, Noble Strong Lessons in Destiny. You can do a John Nelson search right there, Jon John. You can pick up book number 6 on Amazon, do a Noble's Strong Lessons in Destiny search, or do a John Nelson search. Either way, it pops up. And, if you reach out to me on the Twitters or reach out to me through the social medias, I have copies here at the house. And if you want to purchase one that way, I can ship it to you, and I can also personalize and sign it. So at OSG Nelson on the Twitters, John Nelson Amazon author search, Noble Strong book search on Amazon. That's book number 6. Books 7 and 8 are being planned right now.
All right, and John will be back here tomorrow, 12:15, for the soccer show, where he'll try to convince Giancarlo not to go to Halal for $7, and that alone $774, whatever. Look, I can't even spell
it. A lot.
Whatever. All right, thanks a lot, John.
Anytime, my friend.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley, that's Scott Savage, and you can join us at InsideTheGame.ca, YouTube at Inside the Game Official, those networks around the globe. Thanks to our friends over at FiredUp Network. You can join us on Soundcloud and all those other platforms everywhere, and of course, those TV streaming networks around the world. I'm talking about Roku, Amazon Prime, ESTV, Jinx Esports TV, and a whole lot more. Scott, it's a long list. And there's a long list of things to talk about today. What do we have?
We're going to start off with some CG Project Red bad news, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And we'll move into Sea of Thieves' new update for Season 10. Skate 4 playtests are going to move to console, and I'm very excited about that. The Xbox dashboard update has angered some, and Turtle Rock, new game, we're getting a little bit of hints towards what that's going to be.
Oh, I look forward to talking about that, so let's dive in. Scott, topic number one, dudes. We don't like to do this very often, but we gotta start off with some sad news. This is CD Projekt Red lays off over 100 people. Sophie McCovey over at GamesIndustry.biz had this to say. CD Projekt Red is laying off 100 people as it undergoes, quote, several deep transformations, end quote, within the company. Adam Kaczynski, CEO of CD Projekt, announced the news in a blog post. After reshaping the development process for its ongoing projects, Kaczynski said the developer is, quote, now focusing on redefining the shape of their teams, end quote. Having assessed the teams within CD Projekt Red and their, quote, expected contribution to the delivery of their strategy, end quote, Kaczynski concluded that the developer is overstaffed. Scott, that sucks. The hearts go out to everybody working on everything over there at CD Projekt Red. And those who have been affected by this, hopefully they land on their feet relatively quickly and they'll be able to get back into the games industry. This used to be something of common practice within our industry. It's something we've seen over the years change, which is nice because teams would wrap up a game and then, okay, you're laid off. Go find another project, right? And then you'd find another project and then you wrap that one up and then they just lay off. Teams would start small, expand for the latter half of the game production so they can get production up and running faster and get it done out the door quicker, and then all of a sudden just lay them all off, which hurts and it kind of deteriorates your need and desire to get into the industry. Now though, the strategy has really changed over the years. Now you're starting to see like Naughty Dog work on a couple different projects, right? So as one wraps up, they shift those people instead of laying them off. Dude, why would you give up great talent, right? Like, that's the other side of it. If you have great talent, then you take that talent and you shift them on to the next project because, well, once you're done one project, Scott, hopefully you're going to start another one, right? Like, that's the big thing.
Yeah, generally massive success like these big companies have all seen. They follow up with a very quick project to jump onto. I can't believe 100 people. It seems extreme. Even for... if this were the old case of that happening, that's still an obscene amount of people. I'm wondering how many, is that an entire developer front?
Well, you kind of wonder, right?
Location, yeah.
As a result, 9% of its current workforce will part ways with the company. The layoffs will not be immediate, with some employees expected to leave in March 2024. Kaczynski clarified, quote, in the spirit of transparency, they've chosen to share the information now so that team members have ample time to process and adjust to the change, end quote. Affected employees will receive comprehensive severance packages, which is always nice to hear. That is kind of the proper practice when it comes to owning a business and letting people go. But quote,
yeah, I sort of see that as a bare minimum in my opinion. But
it is like, hey, here, you serve your time. Here's a little bit of cash. Thanks for being here, right? Like, it's kind of, yeah, it sucks. I'm sure they'd rather just stick around and be there day in, day out, working on whatever next cool project is coming around the door. Next Witcher, maybe, right? Like, that's kind of how you want to be. And when you go to these companies, you're hoping to be there long term, not short term. But although our paths will diverge professionally, I believe the relationships we have built can remain strong, Kaczynski said, addressing those affected. Your quote, your impact will resonate with CD Projekt Red, and we wish you nothing but success and fulfillment in the next chapter for your professional lives, end quote. Don't forget, Scott, Gwent is one of the games they did shut down, which then, what do you do with that team, right? You transition them over to The Witcher. They announced layoffs for that last month. So there's a lot of things kind of remaining. They will be. The cool part is, which I didn't expect to see, like most times, hey, we're hitting with layoffs, we're done, you're out, right? Not till 2024, though. Maybe there's an opportunity for some of these individuals who have been affected to stick around. Hey, you know what? We did lay you off. Now we've had something else kind of pop up. Let's push you over here instead.
Oh, that is an emotional.
Oh, dude, it's a roller
rocking
coaster.
chair. That's awful. Yeah. Hopefully, these people can find something else to move on to. But I just speaking from personal experience, I wouldn't want to stay around in a company that wants to get rid of me. That's so awkward.
Yeah, people do have bills to pay, right? So at least you're able to kind of hopefully stick around till 2024. But the idea is to find something before that time comes up. So it allows people the time, ample time, hopefully, move on to some other studio and then build something else out and work on another cool game. So again, hopefully everybody's able to land on their feet. Our hearts are with everybody on this one. Scott, continue on some more disappointing news. Dude, this is not a hot show so far. Man, we gotta spice things up here, but let's get into it. I do like this game, though. It's Sea of Thieves. Season 10 has been delayed till October. It's not the end of the world. We do have content to play. It's not like Sea of Thieves has nothing else to do. But this is Tom Ivan over at VGC. The company said in a blog post and a video update that it needs a couple of extra months to work on introducing new systems for the open world multiplayer pirate game, which I can appreciate. Dude, I'm this close to diving right back in. I'm like, oh man. But either way, Season 9 launched in March, and each season typically be expected to last around 3 months. Rare had been planning to launch Season 10 in August, but on Wednesday, it said it had made the difficult decision to push Season 10's launch to October 19th. Quote, "It's not a decision we've taken lightly, and we share your disappointment. That's something we've needed to do," head of community Christina McGrath wrote. However, after careful consideration, we firmly believe that that's the best thing to do for the quality of the release, the sustainability of our development process, and the well-being of our team. Dude, I appreciate that very much. The well-being of your team. Yep.
Big points on that last part, yeah. Because the team is, as we've just discussed, the team is the important part. These are the people who we're dealing with.
Yeah, and if you can just a couple extra months, I'm okay with that. Now we get in October though, we get some like the Halloween pirate theme. That's where I'm going. I'm just saying. Like obviously they have a
your
roadmap,
favorite.
but no, yeah, I don't mind Halloween. It's just not my favorite time of season. That's all. But
That's fair.
I like that they are taking into account that their team, is number one, and that's who they have to take in consideration when developing this particular game and any game. We hear often about crunch within our industry, and this allows that to kind of hopefully alleviate some of that crunch time that they get into, because when you are so close to wrapping up something, you do put in the extra hours, and man, it makes for a long day when you do that sometimes, and you just get out into the burnout phase. And if you're able to not worry about burnout, that gives us not only a better product, but allows your team to stick around and have more energy and feel better about themselves as well. She added,
"Oh, absolutely.
Quote, those who have caught the recent episode of our podcast will have heard us discussing the challenges of implementing new systems into a game like Sea of Thieves. These types of fundamentals releases are challenging to make, as we have to ensure they interact with all the existing systems in the game." Dude, the new season always complicates something, doesn't it?
Oh yes, and think about how massive this game is now.
Yeah.
It released so many years ago, and each system on top of each other. Recently, we were speaking about Diablo and how there's only so many updates they can do, and because of complicated matters, this is no different.
No, absolutely not. One such challenge has been the Season 10 headline feature, which we've already talked about as something that we found to get tougher than anticipated to pull together, especially to the quality bar we're striving to meet. Again, right? It's just one of those things. They want to have the best experience, which is awesome to see. So if they could just take a little bit more time, I'm down for that. This also includes a free, though, Part 3 DLC expansion, The Secret of Monkey Island, which we have started. Steve and myself will be reviewing that on next week's episode. So make sure you stick around for that, for Inside the Game. But dude, they have lots of content in here. I know people are always like, okay, what's next, especially in a game like this, right? Xbox has found that games as service model with Sea of Thieves, and it just keeps pumping out more content. We've had some of the best experiences in here with Jack Sparrow making his way, and now we're getting into The Secret of Monkey Island. I've got a few thoughts on that. In this way, this one here too has been particularly different than usual because it's episodic. We wrapped it up and we're like, oh, we can't get into part 2 yet, eh? That was that kind of hurt a little bit because I just wanted to continue on the story. But we'll talk about that on the show.
That's a good testament to the game. You just want to play more and more. And you gave me a thought, actually. I am not a fan of live service games. I think I can say that with honesty, but this is a great example of one. I really can't complain about how Sea of Thieves has worked out so far.
It's worked out great, absolutely. So it had a strong launch with everybody jumping in, but then it felt very empty, right? And it kind of reminds me again of that No Man's Sky scenario where they came out and everybody's like, yeah, this is kind of like, what else do I get to do? And now they're on like episode or season whatever 100 and new DLC and this, that, and the other. Here we get into Sea of Thieves, and now we're getting into season 10, Scott. You know what I mean? Like back then, did you really anticipate season 10 coming around? So good on Rare for being upfront and saying, hey, you know what? We're just not quite ready yet. We want to get to this bar and make sure we get everything covered so that it is tougher though when you work on one season to the next, make sure that everything that implements for the newest season does work and doesn't break the game like Diablo.
And this is going to October. We have plenty of things to play in September. We'll be all right.
Oh my goodness, do we have so much to play in September? Scott, EA confirmed Skate 4 playtests will come to consoles, but there's no date yet. This is Michael Harridan's over at PSU. Electronic Arts has revealed on its official website that Skate 4 playtests will eventually grind their way onto consoles at some point down the line. Well done, Michael.
Oh boy.
Although the publishing behemoth doesn't have a date to share right now. Quote, we also want to give a shout out to the console skate community. Yes, we are still currently only playtesting on PC, but we promise console playtesting will be coming. We don't have a date to share just yet, but stay tuned. End quote. Scott, are you looking forward to Skate 4?
I am a big fan of Skate, actually. Have you played any of them? The 3 titles have gone since the 360 days.
Yeah, I've dabbled more or less, right? I was more of a Tony Hawk guy back in the day. Dude.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, I was in there pretty heavily playing Tony Hawk with my brother a lot. And then from there, I just kind of fell off, to be honest. And then Skate showed up. I was like, I'll check it out. But I've never really been into that Skate scene. So, I don't know. I know the hype behind it, and I can appreciate where they're going because I know a lot of people are really anticipating this title to come out. It's been in development for a very long time now, too, at this point. So to finally get some playtesting in there for console guys and girls, it's fantastic. It's nice to see that transition not be left out of the mix, right? Everybody goes on PC just because that's what they're making it on and building on, and then now they just got to port it over and let some of us in as well.
I'm wondering how it works with the PC controls because I've only played on console, of course, with the thumbstick is how you control everything. So is that the mouse? But then how do I control where my heading is? I have many questions.
No, absolutely. Man, I'm sure they can figure it out, right? But yeah, when we're so used to playing some of these games, it's always been on controller. And that is my preferred play style to start with. So, I don't know. Dude, all those PC dorks out there got to play something. Scott, Xbox fans are upset, man. Xbox users are not happy about the new dashboard feature. I was like, really? This is Rory Young over at Game Rant. In a Reddit thread titled, quote, please tell me I can get rid of this, end quote, user Spider Wolfer says that the new update has punished them with an awful, unmovable tab. The tab in question is labeled Most Played Games, and to the surprise of Spider Wolfer and others, it doesn't actually list the Xbox users' most played games. Instead, it lists the most popular games on Xbox as a whole. Scott, people are hurt, man.
Yeah, that seems a little less personalized and a little more commercialized, but
very much so. Spider Wolfer is asking for the option to remove this tag, or at least be able to move it underneath tabs they'd be more interested in seeing. Games listed under the most played games tab include Fortnite, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Roblox, Grand Theft Auto 5, Diablo 4, and Rainbow Six Siege. Dude, I've got 2 out of that mix on my library.
Like, those all look okay to me. Roblox doesn't do anything for me, but everything else there is okay.
Spider Wolfen Wolfen or Wolf? He's gonna type in here. I'm gonna say Wolfer, dude. Makes it clear that they don't even own most of these games, but also aren't interested in these games that they do have access to. This is the weird maneuvers. The Xbox has always been pushing the boundaries to have inclusiveness for Xbox gamers. This is what you want. This is how you can customize it. This is how you make it your own, right? And how they kind of start moving forward and brought in Game Pass and the ability to kind of take things everywhere and this, that, and the other. But they've always been gamer focused. To see this does feel like you might as well just threw up the store on us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't like the looks of that. But is this a worse update than the Avatar update of the 360 days? It seems like they're arguing for first right now, but
yeah, I get it. I do like the new look of the dashboard. I appreciate where they're heading that direction. It's weird to see it because it's on my wife's Xbox, but not mine. So
yeah, I don't have it yet.
Oh man, our buddy Kyle got it the other day. He says, dude, just go in and do this, and away you go. I'm like, it says it's coming soon on my Xbox still, and I'm still waiting to see it. But I do like how they've been able to maneuver things. But dude, when it comes to most popular, I don't want the most popular, most played games. I want the most played games that I'm playing, right? Which is currently the status right now. When it comes up, you have the most, your current games are right there. So you just click on that tab and away you go. You're into that game and you're done. I don't need to see stuff from the store. If I want to go to the store, I will go to the store.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. This kind of reminds me of any changes you make to a community. A lot of the time you face backlash, even if it's not a crazy change. And this reminds me of Facebook. Way back in the day when Facebook changed their dashboard, and I pledged I was going to leave, and I did not.
Yeah, nobody's going to leave. They just want some adjustments. So hopefully Xbox will take into account some of the feedback and get this flipped around. At least let us move it, or just let it be our games. Scott, one studio I always keep my eye on is Turtle Rock, and their next game may be another Left 4 Dead spiritual successor. This has got to have fans rather excited.
Oh, yes, it does.
This is from Sarif Saeed over at VG247. Turtle Rock, the team made up of veterans Left 4 Dead developers, specializes in creating co-op shooters. Its first project, Evolve, rest in peace, man. Can we get an Evolve 2? Just, dude, I'm done. That's it. This is the article. We're just talking about... No, we can't. I'd love to talk about Evolve. I love that game so much. And I was so disappointed when it shut down. I think they were just a little bit maybe ahead of their time when it came to making it, right? So I wonder then if there is an opportunity to give us Evolve 2. If you didn't know what Evolve was... Sorry, I'm going off. Welcome to the show. We're going off the rails. Dude, if Evolve was... you were a monster and you leveled up. But then you had 4 others, Scott? 4 or 5? 4, right?
I think it was 4,
Yeah. 4 others, and they were hunters, but they all had their own special class to go out and then get the monster. But you, as a monster, to survive and then eat everything and then level up and then take out those. Oh, dude, it was such a cool mechanic. I played it for a very long time. Love being the monster. That was the cool part, too. I love being the monster or the trappers. Dude, I played the trapper a lot.
I never got to be the monster.
Oh, man, it was so much fun. And then the evolution of your monster getting bigger and bigger with each one. Yo, man, 3 stages for the monster. It was so cool. But the Turtle Rock team is most notably known for Left 4 Dead. So this is where they're going back into, right? But it wasn't the big success they had hoped it would be. But the studio bounced back with an excellent Back 4 Blood. That was the next step in their evolution of Turtle Rock. Scott, we played Back 4 Blood. Even I played that one.
Oh, yes. I played, as far as I know, all the DLC to it as well.
Oh.
I'm a big fan.
Big fan of Turtle Rock in general. And now it looks like the studio has begun working on its next project, which unsurprisingly is going to be a co-op shooter. As spotted by Games Radar, Turtle Rock put up a job ad for a senior combat designer. The role posted on Greenhouse has a list of requirements that include love of first-person shooters, co-op, and multiplayer games. While the description is careful not to divulge too many details, it does confirm the existence of melee and range combat, which admittedly isn't much given Turtle Rock's history, but at least suggests the studio's next game won't be, say, a medieval ARPG. We have seen a lot of those lately. So
that's funny.
The listing also hints that the game includes PvE and PvP elements, as there's a focus on how combat feels against AI and other players. Turtle Rock wants someone who has experience with class design and boss and counter design, which is yet another hint. Scott, sounds like we're going back into that same formula once again. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I was thinking PvP elements. Well, does that disclude Left 4 Dead? And then my memory just took a couple seconds. No, I remember the online was quite busy for that. PvP was a smashing success and a good memory from high school for myself. I love those games.
Dude, it sounds like if they get back into Left 4 Dead situation, dude, like Back 4 Blood took that Left 4 Dead scenario and just kind of did a couple different changes, right? They twisted it. They introduced this card system, which some liked, some didn't. It was a different mechanic, that's for sure. But it was exciting to see them move and evolve on. Are we going back to Left 4 Dead, or is this a brand new IP, you think?
Well, I'm not certain if Left 4 Dead can continue.
It's Valve, right?
Yeah, I believe they own it still, and that's why it had to kind of just change title to Back 4 Blood.
Yeah.
But I would just be as satisfied with a Back 4 Blood sequel. I don't know how you would name that. I'm trying to come up with a clever idea for adding the number into the title, but
yeah.
I can't think of anything. Although it was just a smash success, just add a little bit more of that creative character humor, and you have a smash again.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they can kind of keep going on that lineage of the Left 4 Dead scenario, that Back 4 Blood, and keep that momentum going, or just get into a different situation like they did with Evolve. There's so many questions to see what they're making next. But I'm just happy that Turtle Rock is still around, and they're able to kind of keep going. They said they had to shut down Back 4 Blood because it just wasn't keeping the community around enough. So I'm wondering what's next, and how long are we going to be here waiting to see what is coming next, because, well, we all know games are hard to make, and they take years to get here, Scott. Scott, it is not a quiet day on the game release forefront. What do we have? Holy.
Yeah, hold on for this. This is a list. We have Double Dragon Gaiden, Rise of the Dragons, and that is on both the Xboxes, the PlayStations, Nintendo Switch, and PC.
Control the crowd and strike with a timely blow for a tasty reward. Unbelievable! It's
Arcadian Atlas comes to PC, Mac, and Linux, believe it or not. Consoles are coming later this year. Great Ambition of the Slimes comes to PC. Let's School on PC. The Room VR, A Dark Matter, is now on PlayStation 5 and the PSVR 2. The Expanse, a Telltale series, Episode 1, is now out on both the PlayStations, the Xboxes, Nintendo Switch, and PC.
the coordinates on that data drive. They're for the MK core.
We got a job, Baratnas.
Cox promised us a real payday. He said, give me 3 months, and you never have to work again.
Radiant Tale is on the Switch. Return to Monkey Island is now available on the iOS and Android. That's pretty cool. I think I'm going to check that.
Yeah, for sure.
I've got stories about ships, fights, love, treasure, betrayal.
Operate Now, Hospital is on the Nintendo Switch, and Grand Emprise, Time Travel Survival is on PC.
Man, so many games, Scott. Well, that'll wrap up today's episode, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us. This has been ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. We'll be back again tomorrow, like always. I'm Drew, that's Scott.
We'll see you inside the game.
Basic, and welcome to the Fired Up Network. Welcome to Fired Up Live, and welcome to the Wrestling Show with my good friend Giancarlo Lino. Let's get to it because we got a lot to talk about. Let's look at the Bloodline. Now, the rumor, I don't know if you hear this, but the rumor going around next Saturday is SummerSlam in the Motor City, Detroit. All right? I hear some big guy, like a movie star, not as big as the president of the province of Canada, The Rock, may be appearing at SummerSlam. Why? Oh, why?
Grayson Waller.
Or would he, because this is what did they say? A tribal match or a tribal combat? Well, who's the ultimate chief? Is it Roman Reigns? Is it Jey Uso? Is it The Rock? Is it High Chief Peter Maivia? Is it is it Rikishi? Or will it be Grayson Waller? By the way, if you are this guy Grayson Waller, you get the edge, right? And Edge beats you or whatever. You go AJ Styles in NXT and all that. Now you may bring in The Rock. Who's getting a bigger push? Him or L? Let me talk to you. Let me talk to you. All right? Yeah. All right. Who's getting a bigger push here? What do you think? The Rock shows up or not?
I think he does because he doesn't have anything else to do right now with the whole writer and actor
Yeah,
strike.
but for
So
that matter, John Cena doesn't even have nothing to do. Also, I just got it. Are we going to see The Rock and John Cena at SummerSlam?
yeah, I think we can see both
All
involved
right.
in
Well,
different
I'm talking about a
things,
match.
but
Rock, John Cena, back in 1990. Come on.
yeah, I think we'll see them.
By the
Grayson
way,
Waller is going to be happy though. I think he's going to get a segment.
By the way, do you like my referee shirt or what? All right. So, what do you think of the bloodline here? This thing, we're going on for 2 years already. All right. Forget about Sami Zayn because he's upper mid card level, and Kevin Owens. By the way, Kevin Owens is legit injured for 2 weeks. I don't know if he's going to be wrestling at SummerSlam, but he is legit injured. I expect something big to happen at SummerSlam. Maybe Seth Rollins losing the title to Finn Balor, who gets pinned by his partner, Damian Priest, just seconds after that. And but what do you have to say about Mommy and Dirty Dom?
He's ratings, I guess. He's a big draw, drawing
The
in
biggest heel
millions of
in
viewers.
wrestling.
Yeah, so he's probably one of their biggest draws, and it just shows that Dominic Mysterio is a future WrestleMania main eventer.
What? What? Must be the Italian flag that I've been seeing there since 2006. There, what is going on here? Dominic Mysterio WrestleMania main event against who? Against LA Knight?
MJF.
No, don't. How dare you talk about my good Jewish friend? We'll talk about that soon. All right, we'll talk about that soon. But anything in the WWE strike you here? Anything happened in the last week or two that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Bobby Lashley's going to be doing. He comes out and we saw the Street Profits with Trick and Mello, so I think he's cooking something up there, and I think it's going to be something hopefully where we see Bobby Lashley in a prominent role, and I think Randy Orton's another one to keep an eye on. I think we see him at SummerSlam too.
And then you think he goes up against Riddle?
Yeah, I think there's an RKO coming his way.
And if you looked at it, Riddle has said, oh, you're my best tag team partner to Drew McIntyre, right? So you could see that now. Does Drew beat Gunther?
No, not happening.
Not happening. Wow. All right. And again, we'll fully, preview SummerSlam and talk about wrestling next week because I can't believe it. SummerSlam is next Saturday. And how do you like these Premier Live events on Saturdays instead of Sundays?
AEW is going to have competition again, so I don't know what their TV rating, what they're going to be expecting for Collision next Saturday, but it's a first one now that WWE has a nighttime event. Money in the Bank was during the day, so it didn't really conflict. So it's going to be interesting what that number comes in on Sunday or Monday morning, how they feel about this time slot.
By the way, we mentioned Premier Live events on Saturday, right? You could say right.
Yeah.
And then we're going to preview a Premier Live event on a Sunday, which is the Great American Bash. We'll preview that in a couple seconds, but let's get to AEW now. Boy, did they find magic when they did this blind eliminator tag team or whatever with MJF, my good Jewish friend, and Adam Cole, baby. Now, everybody knows where this is going to end up. All right? He's going to turn or whatever. But is he going to turn or is Adam Cole, because Adam Cole yesterday says he has other friends. He has other friends except for Roderick Strong and all that, and Roderick Strong getting involved. So is that a hint to Kyle O'Reilly coming back? Is that a hint to other people coming in there? And instead of MJF turning, it could be Adam Cole turning, because people love MJF.
I think MJF is still going to be the heel in this. I think they're going to say that MJF was trying to outsmart Adam Cole, but I think this whole time Adam Cole has been outsmarting MJF, and I think we'll see Kyle O'Reilly come out. Roderick Strong's neck brace will find out that he wasn't really hurt to that extent, and that's when they'll fool MJF, and then we'll see an Undisputed Era style beat down on MJF, and the crowd will be sent home happy.
So you're agreeing that Adam Cole's going to turn heel and MJF is sort of going to be the baby face?
No, MJF's going to make Adam Cole believe that he was just fooling him the entire time, and then the babyface Adam Cole is going to tell MJF, you were really the one being outsmarted, and he's going to outsmart the heel here.
All right. I don't understand what half the stuff you're saying here, all right? But let's talk about another match that was at Dynamite last week, the Blood and Guts. The Blood and Guts, War Games, whatever you want to call it. What did you think of the Blood and Guts match?
Typical match on a Wednesday. We saw everybody bleed, take bumps with thumbtacks. I don't know what separated this from the Anarchy in the Arena and all the other matches. So the more they have these, I don't know what's going to be special about them, but they have to build it up to where a stable and another stable go at it. I think they missed an opportunity here by not having CM Punk and Hangman Page. They could have set something up there. They could have had an all-in match, but maybe they're saving that for all-in to set up all out.
All right, and I gotta talk about, since we talked about 2 weeks ago, the tag team match that lasted 58 minutes on Collision. Jay White, Juice Robinson, like, you gotta love Juice, rock hard. All right, Juice Robinson and FTR. Honestly, has there been a better tag team match this year?
So I would say WrestleMania was pretty close. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and the Usos, but they did a good job in building Collision as they're like separating the identity of both shows, and it's working so far. It's just not really for ratings just yet. So they have to really do a hard brand split, I think.
Really? You think a hard brand split will work good for that?
Yeah, I think so. There's too many guys going between shows. It would make everybody exclusive to one night. So I think they need to experiment with that. I think it will work.
All right, as you can see, it's time for the On the Mat Wrestling Show, WWE NXT Great American Bash Premier Live Event. Remember, not pay-per-view, Premier Live Event on a Sunday, Giancarlo. We mentioned now the Premier Live Events is on a Saturday. Why did they move this to Sunday? I'll tell you why. You want to know why? Because Saturday, first of all, they have a big boxing event. All right. Giancarlo will ask you your choice. Who's going to win between Errol Spence Jr. and Crawford? I know you don't know what I'm talking about. And they have, of course, the UFC and Bellator there. So that's why they moved it to Sunday. But let's get to the card also. Let's get to, first of all, Roxanne Perez versus Blair Davenport. Weapons Walled match. Who's your call?
I think they'll have Roxanne Perez win, get the baby face over. It's a premium live event where they're going to showcase some of their up and coming stars. So I think they'll probably go with her, and we'll see her maybe be the women's champ. So I think they're going to push her in that direction.
Dragon Lee, Nathan Frazier, and Leon versus Meta 4. Nomar Dar, Lash Legend, Jay Jackson. Who you got in this one? 8-person mixed tag match.
I think Dragon Lee they have high hopes for. So I would expect him to get majority of time in this match, and he's going to be showcased more. So I think this is going to be like a Dragon Lee showcase. and he gets a win for his team.
Tiffany Stratton, a.k.a. Trish Stratus wannabe, versus Thea Hall, a.k.a. 19-year-old, for the NXT Women's Championship in a submission match.
I wouldn't be surprised if they have Chase U get their championship, just to show that their methods work. So I'll go with an upset here, and I'll say Thea Hale wins it. How long she'll have the title? Probably not long, maybe 2 weeks, but I see this being a transitional reign, and we'll probably see them have a rematch on NXT where another title change will happen.
Have you graduated from Chase U? Anyways,
No, I went to York, so it's probably around the same, or maybe Chase U's above that. Who knows?
So would you have gone to Chase U if you're given the opportunity?
Nah, it's too far.
And what are you chasing? And like, if you're in Chase U, what are you? Never mind. Gallows
Andrew Chase
versus the family, Tony D and Channing, for the tag team championships.
Yeah, I think it's about time Tony D gets some opportunities to be a champion. I think he's going to get the win for his team. He cut an incredible promo 2 weeks ago, and I think he'll continue that. So I got Tony D and the family getting gold.
Of course, you're Italian. Let's talk about big debut: Baron Corbin versus Gable Stevenson.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Baron Corbin, they reintroduced his character. It's finally getting over again. This is what everybody wanted to see out of him, and now it looks like he's going to lose his first match with Gable. So I just hope it's competitive, but they're going to make the Olympic gold medalist look like a superstar right out the gate. So I guess Baron Corbin's going to lead him through this, but I see Baron Corbin taking the loss.
By the way, the 8-person mixed tag is on the pre-show. The 8-person mixed tag. Now, semi-main event, triple threat match for the NXT North American Championship. Dirty Dom, Dominic Mysterio with Rhea Ripley. Giancarlo, who's Rhea Ripley?
The women's champion?
No, she's your mommy. Wesley and Mustafa Ali. Who's your pick?
Yeah, Dominic Mysterio's winning this. I don't think there's any doubt. He's going to carry this because NXT is using him for ratings. I don't blame Shawn Michaels for doing that. You want to get that rating bump, you put Dominic Mysterio on the show. So I see him holding that title for a long time.
All right, and then in the main event for the NXT Championship, you got Carmelo Hayes with Trick Williams versus Ilya Dragunov. Boy, is this guy intense.
Yeah, I don't know what with the whole draft and everything, what ended up happening with some of these other NXT guys, but a lot of them ended up being free agents, and we haven't really seen them pop up anywhere. So I think we'll see a new champion, and I think Carmelo Hayes and Trick might be joining Bobby Lashley on SmackDown.
I actually agree. That's something I wanted to talk to you about there, because Carmelo Hayes, about time they give him a push onto the main roster, right? They have the Street Profits there, with Bobby Lashley. And you can't forget, most likely MVP is going to run it, so that's going to be a faction, maybe to go up against what is left of the bloodline, or maybe they incorporate some new guys into the bloodline too. That's something
Omos. He comes around only for the big shows.
Yeah, Omos is. Where is he going to go? In the bloodline or in Bobby Lashley's group, right? So it's that should be interesting to see. Again, the Great American Bash happens this Sunday, July 30th, 8 p.m. Now, great job by the producer. Okay, as you can see, also UFC will have UFC 291. Welcome to the UFC On Guard preview show here. UFC 291 happens Saturday, 9 p.m. from Salt Lake City, Utah. By the way, Utah may get another team, put it that way, another team. So we'll see about that later on. But let's get to early prelims. Which one or two bouts that you want to talk on about in the early prelims, Giancarlo?
I think the one fight I would keep an eye on, Miranda Maverick stepping in on short notice here, coming off a loss just a month ago in Vancouver. It was viewed as an upset loss, so it's going to be interesting there to see if she can get back on track. If not, then it's going to be an interesting couple weeks there with the matchmakers in the UFC.
And like I said, Saturday's a night for fighting, for UFC, for MMA, because we got a boxing card just down the road in Vegas there. Okay, so you talked about Maverick, so let's get to the prelims. Give me 2 prelim bouts that you like to talk about.
Yeah, Derek Lewis is fighting.
Yeah, you
That's
want me
all
to
you
say
need to
this?
say about that.
Giancarlo, do you want me to say this? Do you want me to designate you as the designated sweaty ball checker?
And they're in altitude, so it's going to be
Oh,
interesting.
that means not one ball is going to be sweaty. Never mind. Go ahead. He takes on Lima.
Yeah, he has to win, I think. He's on a losing skid, and I thought after the last one they might have thought about cutting him, which they're giving him another opportunity. It looks like this is like his last opportunity. If he doesn't win this, he might have to consider retiring at his age, but I think he gets it done, gets a win here, and what he decides to do next, maybe he does retire, maybe he continues, but I think he gets one win and bounces back here.
Okay, and let's talk about the main event of the prelims there. Who you got in this welterweight bout?
Yeah, this one kind of a interesting one. I'm surprised they put it in the main event spot, but I'll go with Trevin Giles to win. Last 2 fights, he's looked pretty good. Coming off 2 decisions, I think he'll continue that. I don't think it'll be something where we're looking at him as getting back in the top 10 or getting that kind of fight, but he has, I think, fought against top guys. He has a win against Delize, so he's a guy that is capable of holding his own with like the top 10 to 15. So I think after this, you'll get back in the mix there.
Okay, so let's get to the main card. And boy, this main card is stacked. Giancarlo, stacked. Let's get to the welterweight bout. Kevin Holland versus Chizag there.
Yeah, Kevin Holland is looking pretty good in the division. And like Chiesa is coming off like 2 losses. He was injured. He came out and talked about some of the injuries he's been dealing with. I think Kevin Holland has a momentum on his side, and I think I'll lean more towards Holland in this, but I don't see Chiesa like it being a first round finish. So I think this goes the distance.
All right, that's good. So you think it goes the distance there? All right,
Yeah.
and then you got Tony Ferguson up against Bobby Green. A lot of people, Tony Ferguson has been up and down, but Bobby Green is coming into its own now. Who do you call in this one?
Yeah, I think Tony Ferguson's in a similar spot to Derek Lewis, where they're literally giving
Don't
him
let me
his
say
last
similar
opportunity.
spot to Derek Lewis. All right.
So I think Tony Ferguson needs a win. If there's anyone other than Derek Lewis on this event that has that pressure to get a win, I think it is Tony Ferguson. He's 39, all these losses in a row, going back to just 2020, that Gaethje fight, all the like punishment he took. I think if Ferguson can't beat Bobby Green here, they're just gonna probably look to Cunningham. So I'll still say Ferguson gets a win, though. I think he's capable of beating Bobby Green.
Welterweight bout Thompson versus Pereira.
Yeah, this is gonna be like I don't know how to explain this, like a ninja fight. Just Pereira is one of those guys that does backflips and somersaults, and Thompson is skilled in karate, kickboxing. So I think this won't be going to the ground, but I got Wonderboy Thompson winning this, and I think after this fight we'll see Wonderboy Thompson get a challenge from probably the newest signing in the UFC, Michael Venom Page. So I'd be interested to see that.
All right, and then the co-main event and main event. Both of these guys are number 2 versus number 3, light heavyweight bout. Who you got in this one?
Yeah, I know that a lot of people are counting out Pereira just because he's mostly a striker, and the guys he fought at middleweight before he won the title from Adesanya, pretty much like played into the style that he is his strength. And Yan said he's going to test his striking with a kickboxing champion. I don't know how that's going to go for him. Best of luck in that. But I think Pereira, because of that, and because Yan wants to test himself, I think he gets caught. So I got Pereira pulling off the upset here and getting a title shot.
All right, and then in the main event, lightweight bout, again, number 2, Dustin Poirier versus Gaethje. This one, for me, is a toss-up. Who do you got?
Yeah, this is it is going to be a toss-up. It's a rematch from their fight a few years ago where Poirier got the win. I think we're going to see Gaethje get the win here. I think Gaethje, just how he's looked in his last fight, I think he's going to make sure he brushes up on some of the mistakes he made against Poirier the first time. And I think he gets a finish probably in the end of the second round, early third round. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do with this title because Masvidal never defended it. And now I think they're going to have an opportunity where this could be like a catchweight title. So I would, if Gaethje wins this, I see him fighting Max Holloway next.
All right, and then let's talk about the last 2 things that I always talk about with UFC. You know where they are: Conor McGregor and John Jones. Conor McGregor, thoughts?
Yeah, hopefully. I don't know what they're going to do. It looks like he keeps saying that he is fighting this year. He's not even in the testing pool, so there is a loophole there. They could say it's an exhibition, kind of like what they wanted to say with Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. And if I'm Michael Chandler, I still accept it. Take the money. Who cares if it's an exhibition and it won't count on his record? It happened in the octagon, happened in the UFC. He should accept it if it's an exhibition.
All right, and John Jones?
Yeah, he's fighting in November. They announced that UFC
But
295.
what happens? What happens if he wins again? Who does he take on then?
I think he retires. And then he'll probably push the UFC into making a fight with Francis Ngannou cross promotion with PFL, and I think that will give him leverage because he'll probably say, "Yeah, I'm only going to fight again if you make a cross promotion." The fan demand will be too high, and I think Dana White's going to have to cave because if he doesn't, they can always go to above his head. John Jones can just fight him anyways and set them up like behind the scenes and maybe stage something where they get into a pushing and shoving battle. But I think eventually he's going to force their hand.
All right, and for that matter, GSP is coming back for a grappling bout. Okay, can you classify what a grappling bout is as opposed to a wrestling bout, as opposed to mixed martial arts? Go ahead.
Yeah, he won't be punching and kicking. He'll just be
grappling,
shooting for takedowns, grappling, and win by submission or decision.
But that's what GSP does.
He'll be perfect for it then.
All right, that's UFC 291 from Salt Lake City, Utah, happening Saturday. 10 p.m. is the complete card there. And interesting to see what the pay-per-view numbers would be for this one because, like I mentioned, they have a card. Bellator, we're going to touch on this one. Bellator has a card against Rising, and also that boxing event that everybody's talking about there in Las Vegas. So it should be interesting to see where they go with this one. But let's get to it. I know you're on top of it for Sports Gita and everything like that. But Giancarlo, let's look at. We'll touch on the main event. But is there any other bout before the main event that you want to talk about?
Yeah, this is going to, if you're in the arena, I guess, is going to be a long one. So they're doing 2 events. It starts at 11 p.m. Eastern, the Bellator Rising card. Then they're going to be doing an intermission. And then the Rising 2 event's going to start. So if you're watching it on the East Coast time, you're looking at 11 to probably 6 in the morning. That's fun.
Yeah, but Giancarlo, you're Italian, eh? Aren't you up at 3:30 in the morning to watch Italy play the women's soccer?
No, PVR.
And when will you PVR if you're going to be from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m.? Never mind. All right, let's get to the main event there. Grand Prix quarterfinal bout. Who are you calling in this one? Pitbull versus De Souza.
this whole event, if it was on in the States, I think they could have really built this up. It's in Japan, so I guess we'll be a sellout for that. But like even like Patricio Pitbull coming out of nowhere, and he's on this card after fighting at bantamweight. He's fighting a catchweight now at 154 pounds, so he's basically moving up 2 weight classes here. Then just like Pitbull, his brother on the card, so they've been preparing, and he's fighting a last minute replacement because AJ McKee had to pull out of the whole event. I think we're going to see an upset here. I think Satoshi Sosa wins the title or wins this. He's a Rising lightweight champ, and I think he's going to make a name for himself in Bellator.
So is this? I'm going to equate. Is Bellator Rising like the Forbidden Door?
Pretty much, yeah. Except Bellator, like the last time they had an event where they went head to head, it was a clean sweep. So I think this could be a good way for Ryzen to get some momentum back, and I think it's a good matchup for the Ryzen lightweight champion.
All right, we touched the wrestling show on the Mat Wrestling Show. By the way, the NXT Premier live event, Great American Bash, happening this Sunday, July 30th, 8 p.m. All right, 8 p.m. from Texas. All right. Then we got UFC 291 pay-per-view happening Saturday, July 29th from Salt Lake City, Utah. And then we got Bellator. Is this a pay-per-view? Because it's Rising. It's a pay-per-view.
Technically,
all right?
yeah.
Happening Saturday, but technically in Japan it's Sunday. But whatever, Bellator, Rising. And then we got the boxing event, Spence Jr. versus Terrence Crawford, happening in Vegas on Saturday. And Giancarlo, do you want to touch on who's going to win that bout?
I have no idea.
39-0 versus 28-0 in boxing. That never happens there, and we'll have somebody on here later on to discuss about that bout. But Giancarlo, we'll be back tomorrow for the soccer show with Carmen Asako. You saw him. He called you out here. He said, you got to come to his home at 3:30 in the morning, watch Italy play Saturday. So, and I said, Giancarlo's a little bit busy. Saturday, a biggest fight night, with UFC, everything we talked about. But he says he will give you free spaghetti and free bagels and everything. Anything for free, Giancarlo's there. Right, Giancarlo?
Yeah, it's still 3 in the morning. There has to be something more for free for me to go at 3
All right, so he gives you free $5. Are you going to be... Never mind. Giancarlo, tell everybody how to get a hold of you.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter, John_411, Instagram, Giancarlo_Lino, and check out my articles on firedupnetwork.ca and sportskita.com.
All right, and you're going to be all over the UFC and Bellator this weekend, right?
Yeah, should be a good one. Bellator, it's going to be a fun one. Maybe
are you covering
in
that
between
for
fights? Should be a good one. I don't know.
Are you covering it for Sportskeeda?
No idea.
No idea. Do you want to cover it for Fired Up Network?
Yeah, 4 a.m.
Thanks a lot, Giancarlo.
Thanks.